Welcome to another episode of Sand City Sports. We are back, making it do what it do. Yes, Saturday night. Hey, it's a beautiful thing. We got a lot lined up. There's a lot that's been percolating, that's been going on, that I'm excited to share. Hope you guys are doing well out there in television land, as they say. But Sand City is in the building. Sand City is in the building right now. We are going to go across and check our socials. Our socials are looking good. We're back in full effects. We're in the mix. Woo! It's a beautiful thing right now. Okay? You understand? I'm happy to be here, folks. We, you know what I mean? This is that work-life balance. This is that work-life balance right now. Making time for my passion project in the midst of the day-to-day, right? The grind. We out here going through our go-through, but we making it work. We making it work some kind of way. And so, yes, sir, I am thrilled, elated. Your boy is Tickle Pink to be with you right now to get this episode going on. This Saturday edition of Sand City Sports. And let's get ourselves organized. We're looking good. Our socials are good. We're back. Across the board, we're adding some pieces that you know what I mean. We have all of it going on right now. So that's a beautiful thing. So let's go ahead and let's hey. Once again, I hope y'all are good out there. Sand City is good. So you know what this is. Let's get it going. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Sand City to the business. I am your host, Cape Cod Kid, artist formerly known as Come on back. Get some of that good energy, folks. Get some of that good Sand City. You know what I mean? You feel it? Hey, go. Here we got NFL coming up tomorrow. Your boy Shador Sanders is going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Brown's gonna cover it up against some of us. We got LA Lakers. There's just a tremendous amount. Woo! We're gonna touch it all. We're gonna touch it all. But yes, last night, that Denver Nuggets, Houston Rockets game off the chains. We shall discuss. LA Lakers, the gift that keeps on giving. Can they unite? What's that called? You know what I mean? The glove. Can they, and all the different pieces? Can they unite all of the different emeralds on the gloves, most specifically LeBron James and Luka Doncic? Can they unite and be of one accord to put the Lakers in the conversation in a very competitive Western Conference? I'm hoping so. I don't know, but I hope so. You understand? So we'll touch on that. And yes, the Oklahoma City Thunder out here molly-whopping teams. Okay? Kicking behind and taking names. Right? It's just a lot going on. All right, so let me just hold on. Because it has been a long time. And you know I didn't want to leave you. I can't leave you. Shouldn't have left you. Without that dope beat to step two. Let's take a step two. Step two. Step two. Step two. Step two. Chicken. So we're gonna start with Shador. I hope y'all are feeling good, because I'm feeling very good about Shador. Let me just make sure I reach out to people. We're gonna get into Shador. Let them know. We letting them know, Sand City. How we doing on our socials? We're good. We're good. Okay. Yep. Our socials are good. Okay. What's going on the let's couple people I see you on the Twitter feed. Respect. Go ahead and jump into the comments if you have anything. This is the me and the Sue, the me Casa Sue Casa. Go ahead and jump into those comments if you have something. We're starting with Shador, but we have a lot, quite a bit to go ahead and get to, and I just want to let me just put it out there for people in case they might want. Hold on. How am I gonna do this now? Because we're live. Let me just jump over to let people know if folks want to jump in. Let me just let the chat, my fantasy league, I have to let my fantasy league know if they want to get down. If they want to get down for the crown, they're welcome, just like you're welcome. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let them know, and then we're gonna jump over, folks. I haven't forgotten as I let them know. I say, boo, let them know. I say, Sand City is live. Okay, so they know. And now let's get it jumping. Let's get it going on. I have the Cleveland Browns beating the Las Vegas Raiders tomorrow at 4:00. And I have respect that's being put on Shador Sanders' name. Have them winning, and I have some respect that's being put on Shador Sanders' name. Lining up a marquee matchup. Yes, a marquee matchup the next week when the Browns at home take on the San Francisco 49ers. Enough's enough, folks. In terms of the Shador Sanders, in terms of the Shador slander. We need to pump the brakes on it. This is a capable quarterback. This is a confident quarterback. This is a quarterback that showed you what he could do on big stages in college football. Next thing you know, not a first round pick, not a second round pick. He's dropping into fourth and fifth, sixth, fourth. You know what I mean? What are we doing here? Because he has a chip on his shoulder? Because he walks to the beat of his own drum? Let's keep it 100, folks. Shador Sanders is a winner. We're going to speak about some young guns, some young stars in the NBA, i.e. Mr. LaMelo Ball, and whether he's a winner or not. We're going to get there in this episode of Sand City Sports. We're going to get there, folks. But right now, we're on Shador. He's a winner. But yet he comes into the NBA, what are we doing here? NFL. Correct myself. He comes into the NFL, and there's all this shade around his name. All right? Has an opportunity. And I think I'm saying going to make the best of that opportunity to get started. Get a W against a Raiders team. Yes, they're also at a crossroads. Bit of an identity crisis in Las Vegas. Hasn't gone as expected in Pete Carroll's first year. That's neither here nor there. We're talking about Shedeur. This is the game, a game for him to get his feet under him, right? We don't need to go straight from the frying pan into the fire. Okay? Having a first game against what have you. Throw a name out there. The Colts, the Pats, right? The best that the AFC has to offer. It's duly noted he's playing right in the margins against a team that's also trying to find themselves. Okay? But I think it's going to be Shedeur and the Cleveland Browns that find themselves and find something to stick with for the rest of the year and to see where it's going up or down. Okay, you already let Joe Flacco go to a divisional rival so that they could try to find their mojo. As far as I'm concerned, Joe Flacco is going to continue to hold the fort down until I want Mr. Joe Burrow, who's not going to be playing tomorrow, but is still lurking. Joe Flacco is going to continue to hold the fort down for them until Joe gets back and sees if he can catch lightning in a bottle, right? In this AFC North. What are we looking at, folks? 7 games left. Cincinnati only 3 games behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ravens right there. Winners of 4 straight. Browns 4 games off the pace. I'm not saying the Browns are going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying Shedeur is going to come back, jump into the phone booth, and have the Cleveland Browns usurp all 3 of those teams. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's time to reset this narrative. Give this man an opportunity, this young man an opportunity against the Raiders, first game, winnable game, to try to start getting things moving and grooving and cranking back in the right direction. No, I don't have the Browns making the playoffs. Yes, I do have the Browns kicking up some duffs in the AFC North and some of these divisional rounds. This is an entire division. What are they having? A midlife crisis, a quarter life crisis? What? That's up for grabs. Each and every team in the AFC North is trying to find themselves. Things are going good in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers at QB, leading the charge, but they haven't separated themselves. Ravens, 1-5. Lamar out. This is supposed to be a Super Bowl contender. Talk about back up against the wall. Talk about between a rock and a hard place. Talk about people having to rub their eyes. Am I looking at the Ravens? Is this a team? 1-5? What are we talking about here? This is supposed to be finally, at long last, folks talking about the Buffalo Bills and if they can ever win the big one. How about the Baltimore Ravens? And they've reeled off 4 straight, put themselves solidly. Again, the Steelers had the opportunity. What is luck when preparation meets opportunity? Steelers had the opportunity to blast ahead, i.e. the New England Patriots, who we are going to get to, and put some real distance between themselves and these other middling teams in the AFC North. They didn't do it. So guess what? We're looking at a sprint to the finish. And Baltimore in that 2 seed, to me. What's going on, Chris? Welcome. Appreciate you. Yes, Sand City, we back. Let them know. Chat, the fantasy chat. Let them know. I got the link on deck. they want to jump in. Appreciate you, Chris. Again, we're starting in the NFL. We have a lot. We're talking Shedeur. Shedeur gets it done tomorrow against the Raiders to get the ball rolling, to build up some momentum for the marquee matchup next week against the San Francisco 49ers, where I have. Now hold on a second. I can't say I'm picking Cleveland in that game, right? Because the 49ers also, no, they're not also. 49ers are in a knockdown drag out in the NFC West that Chris might want to speak on in favor of his hometown LA Rams. Oh, we talking 7-4, 7-3, 8-2. There's no love lost in the NFC West. So I can't go ahead and say that I have Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns beating the San Francisco 49ers next week. I can't do that. I can't do that. Right? Because we're looking at a conference, we're looking at a division that's trying to land 3 teams in the playoff. Okay? Seahawks, people keep speaking of disrespect. Doggone it, Minnesota. Feeling Minnesota. Jettison Sam Darnold. And for what? So he can take his talents and his success to the Seattle Seahawks. Playing out of their tree. Rams, Sean McVay, doesn't get enough credit as far as I'm concerned. We're going to talk about New England and Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, front of the line, everybody knows it for Coach of the Year. That doesn't mean I'm still not Team Mayo. I remain Team Gerard Mayo. Please. Man deserves another shot. Does that mean he should have won the last game? So for the Patriots, they have to give up Travis Hunter? Folks have forgotten about Travis Hunter. On my fantasy team, was balling for me. Hurts my heart that he's out for the season. NFL needs Travis Hunter. Heal up, get healthy, young lion. You'll be back in the mix. But doggone Will Campbell and Drake May. Woo! These 2 young lions and what they're doing. Goodness gracious. Drake May back there could write a doggone thesis. He could write his dissertation for North Carolina as much time as he has in the pocket for the New England Patriots in terms of what Will Campbell and his offensive line are doing. It's bananas. So, hey, Rob Parker, Odd Couple, we don't play a hate around here. We congratulate. You're going to hear a lot of shout-outs. I cite my sources. So many talented folks out there. I'm just happy to be in the building. I'm just happy. Yes, I work in education. I'm thrilled. I'm fortunate. I'm blessed. The whole 9 yards. It's a busy time. You're going through it. I'm going through it. Work a day, people, right? A working class hero is something to be. But in the midst of our 9 to 5 or 9 to whatever, we have to make time for the passion project. We have to make time for our creative energies and so on and forth. So Sand City, I'm well aware that there's been a hiatus. There's been some gaps. Not pleased, but aware. But we're going to battle right on through that. Chris, again, bringing that good energy. Going to be at the game tomorrow. It's Aaron Donald bobblehead night. That alone. Never mind. What are we looking at tomorrow? What are we looking at? Every game is a big game. What's going on tomorrow? The Bucks. Sunday Night Football. You know I'm tuned in. I'm locked into that one. A battle royale in the NFC. 2 teams, hey, that could be representing. Let's go. Hold on. Let me just take a look because this is I gotta give me hope. What's going on? Is hold on, my socials are good. Is Mike Evans done for the season? Broken collarbone, or is it, what's going on? Right? Injuries. The Buccaneers are not a team. We meaning they. It's got to be all hands on deck. It's got to be all hands on deck. Folks in the fantasy league, I let them know they can jump on. And just like you guys out there in television land, Mi Casa is the Su Casa. You're certainly welcome. Let me know what's going on. See, I'm seeing on the IG. Interesting, because let me see if I can hold on. Let me see if I come here. Let me see if I come here. Can people see me on the IG? It's negligible. But you can hear me on the IG, of course. But how I have the screen is a little bit. We're gonna stay with this. We're gonna stay with this look. So Mike Evans out. Collarbone. I don't know. It's obviously gonna take time to heal. So, but Godwin expected to play. Injuries, man. You can't avoid them. But what do we have? Got the Rams at 7-4. Let's take a look here. Love the Buccaneers. Love these. In the Bucs at 6-4. With the doggone Carolina Panthers at 6-5. Falcons let me down. Penix having him shut down. Saints are in the march for Arch or whoever. Vikings 4-6. Heck is wrong with you getting rid of Sam Darnold? Okay. Got to go advantage Rams. In that matchup. But of course, any given Sunday, we right? Let me just check real quick. Let me see what kind of energy. Oh, T-Bay. Tampa Bay. Lost 2 straight. Meanwhile, Chris is going to let him know. Sean McVay and the Rams, they don't want 5 straight. They don't want 5 straight. They on the move. They got a movement going on. Okay, let's come back to the matter at hand. We'll touch on, all right, in terms of this game, right? Tomorrow, our friend Shedeur Sanders in the battle of the basement. Browns lost 3 straight. Raiders lost 4 straight. Somebody got to win. Somebody's got to get a dub tomorrow. Okay, we know that. Right, I have it going to the Cleveland Browns and Shedeur Sanders. Dare I say, if we can bring a little bit of stability, what does Myles Garrett have? 13, 14, 15, 17 sacks for this team. He wanted out, right? He wanted out of Cleveland, and then he secured the bag. He said, I'm going to come on back. Might not win a Super Bowl, but I didn't secure the bag. I'm good. But if we have some sort of stability on the offensive end, and Myles Garrett wreaking havoc on the defensive end, right? It's not that you win or lose. It's how you win or lose. Now, obviously, again, back to the odd couple, Rob Parker. Shorts has a short menu. Wins and losses. Short menu. Okay? But Cleveland, nobody had y'all making the playoff Super Bowl. But are we building? Are we trending in the right direction? You get the brakes beat off of you. No. Excuse me. You beat the brakes off of the Dolphins, 31-6. Respect. You lose handily to the Patriots, double digits. A close loss to the Jets, that might as well be a blowout. How are you losing to the Jets? And then a nip and tuck battle against the Ravens. 1 touchdown game. All right? So if I'm Cleveland, I'm seeing some growth. I'm seeing some progress. Again, not that you win or lose, how you win and potentially lose. They're in these games. They're pushing these teams. Right? 23-16 against an upstart Baltimore Ravens team, a one-score game against a team that's in the Super Bowl, was in the Super Bowl, could be back in the Super Bowl conversation. If we remember the last time the Ravens took the championship, they did it through what? They did it through the wild card. They headed for the wild card this year. Dangerous team. And Cleveland's right there with them in a one-score game. No. There's some progress that's afoot. Progress that I see continuing. Let Shedeur go out there and lead this team. Okay, show what he can do in a winnable game. Never mind all right. It's the Cleveland Browns. It's a team that gave Deshaun Watson a guaranteed deal. We're talking about the Browns here. This is a team that sent Joe Brown into retirement. If we're going to keep receipts, if we're going to go back in time. We'll discuss this when we get over to LeBron and talk about the greatest of all time and how they need to be treated. Right? This is an organization that gave Jim Brown, he's the judge, Jim Brown, an ultimatum. The Cleveland Browns. Either you do it my way or you can hit the highway. Arguably the greatest football player of all time said, I'm out. Deuces. Talk to me like that. And who loses behind that? The NFL loses. The Cleveland Browns lose. Everybody lose behind that foolishness. It's a whole nother segment. But it needs to be said. Alienate arguably the greatest player to ever play the sport. So back to Shedeur, it's a dysfunctional organization. There's dysfunction. Since time immemorial. And that affects your rookie quarterback, affects everybody. Can we calm the storm, please? Please. And allow these young men to go out there and make it do what it do. Get a W against the Raiders. Winnable game. Let's get the ball rolling in the right direction. Next week against the 49ers in a must-win game for a team scratching and clawing for the playoffs. I can't go there. I can't go there with you. I'm sorry. But after that, pull this up again. And then let me just see if anybody has something on Shedeur. You got the Niners, then you have the Titans and the Bears. Come on. Titans, another winnable game, another great game. Two teams trying to find themselves, find their way, right? Another opportunity, right? Advantage, Cleveland. Titans have no idea who they are. Let my bro know. We're in the building right now, folks. We in the building. We're gonna be here for a minute. We're gonna be here for a minute. Do I see we got a couple people? We got a couple people that's tuned in. That's locked in with us on the. Yes, sir. A couple people tuned in on the. Yeah. I appreciate you. A couple people tuned in with us on the YouTube. Yes, sir. A little bit difficult to see, but we locked in on our socials across the board. Just check in if folks have something. Holla at your boy. Let me know. And a couple people with us on Twitter. I appreciate it. But Shedeur, let's get it going. Start it off tomorrow and get that ball rolling, get that ball trending, moving in the right direction. We're gonna come on back. We're gonna come on back home, and this is something that this is something that we'll revisit. Should my bro be able to jump on with us, we're gonna revisit this, right? Because he's been Team Patriots hook, line, and sinker. But it's going. What are we looking at? 1 o'clock window tomorrow. New England Patriots on the road against a dangerous Cincinnati Bengals team. What are we doing here? Look, folks. Okay. Mike Vrabel's got to be the front runner for Coach of the Year. We got Drake May that's in the MVP conversation. All right. Now I hear what you're saying. Some people, the whispers. Listen, you know where I'm coming from, the Cape Cod kid. But I'm born in the great state of New Jersey, folks. I make it clear to you, folks. I'm from the tri-state. You heard me? New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. You heard me? I'm from the tri-state area. Okay. So I root for the Eagles. My people from Jersey. And then I root for the Jetropolitans. Okay. I've been in New England, been on Massachusetts, Cape Cod for decades now. All right. It took some time for me to warm to New England. It took some time. Okay. Right? Because there's been a history here, good, bad, and indifferent. Yes, Red Auerbach empowered Bill Russell, first African-American coach in professional team sports. That's Boston. Also Boston, you vandalized Bill Russell's house. Also Boston. Okay, so we have to take the good with the bad. Got to take the good with the bad. All right. So I've warmed to the New England teams. I support the New England teams. I'm proud that Boston is the number one sports city in America, and the Cape Cod kid out here in Tourist Town, maybe I have a little bit to do with that. I hope so. But I'm proud of these things. But it's taking some time to warm. I just take some time. Let me make that clear. So are the Patriots? I'm not one of these guys. My brother is the Patriots. Again, when we moved here from the tri-state. He was younger. I was in middle school. He was still in elementary school. So it's a different experience. But he grew up with the Patriot. He's hook, line, and sinker Patriots. So there's no two ways about it. He's out in the Western, out in the desert land, Arizona, 70-degree weather. They're living good out there. They're living good. But his experience is a little bit different than mine. But he's hook, line, and sinker. Where am I going with this? Okay? This renaissance that's taking place immediately. Folks have forgotten the last 5 years of just this. The Patriots could have been on. Never mind a Jerry Springer special. Shout out to Jerry Springer if y'all remember Jerry Springer out there. I know I'm dating myself, but the youths, they don't know. So much dysfunction in New England over these last 5 years. 4 with Belichick, and then last year with Gerard Mayo. This is a Jerry Springer holiday special. Okay. In terms of what has transpired since TB12 took his talents to Tampa Bay. Talk about a comedy of errors. Talk about going from bad to worse. Talk about things getting ugly. Just across the board. Never mind, Bill Belichick today won't let the Patriots, go down to Carolina because, and the Patriots don't, talking to him. All the drama that persists. We talked about winning that game to lose the number 1 pick. Crazy. Some of the losses the Patriots had. Bill Belichick, the loss on the road to the Raiders where they just threw away the game on the last play. Talk about Mac Jones, who's found himself in San Francisco, having a defensive coordinator and a special teams coach lead the offense. Comedy of errors. Bad to worse. Atrocious. Abysmal. Outlandish. Unacceptable. Just throw in the freaking synonyms. Back to the short menu. Shout out to the Odd Couple, Rob Parker. It's still there. But the pendulum has swung. We got a second-year guy who people had forgotten about in all of the Jaden Daniels hoopla and Caleb Williams. Will he find himself? People forgot about Drake May, that he was a dude at North Carolina his entire college career. Y'all forgot about him. Now he's MVP favorite candidate. Mike Vrabel, so what am I saying? I'm saying you have to strike while the iron is hot. You can't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. I'm going to chill with all of these little proverbs. But take, yes, the Ravens, the Bills. Who thought the Indianapolis Colts would be where they are, right? It's up for grabs this year. And the Patriots have a puncher's chance just as good as any. If we remember how the dynasty started years ago, we're supposed to get manhandled by the Rams. No way that they had a chance to win that game. Okay, and that's the game, the Super Bowl, that brought the dynasty into fruition. Weren't supposed to be there, couldn't hang, couldn't compete. I was in college. Okay, let it be known, not but I was like, the Patriots, they're gonna get destroyed. Rams are a machine. These guys, who the heck is this Brady guy? Bring back Drew Bledsoe. It's not happening. It's a Georgetown Villanova situation. By the way, shout out to Requiem for the Big East. 30 for 30 classic. If you 30, doggone it, the 30 for 30s, man. There's just so much, right? Talk about, I'm busy, and everybody's busy. The holiday, we're all going, but there's just so much great artistry that's out there. 30 for 30s, man. All these different platforms now. I was like, I'm loving, I don't have this, but doggone, I'm loving the NBA on Prime. Holla at your boy. Holla at your boy. Great game last night, Nuggets and Rockets. What's going on? What are these guys talking about? Patriots, man, 0 to 100 real quick. All right, so let's look at this game tomorrow against the Bengals. Bengals are dangerous. Care what anybody says. All those weapons, stability now at quarterback. Joe Burrow chomping at the bit to get back in the mix because he sees, right? Okay, Cincy, they done lost 3 straight. They're sliding, right? They were 3-4, now 3-7. So, must win, right? Playing against a team that's won 8 straight. In Cleveland, Cincy. Let me get my Ohio cities right. What are we doing here? Right? Obviously, advanced Patriots. Let's keep it 100. But since he has the tools, the ability, Joe Flacco, go out there. He's got weapons. Obviously, now, yes. I had to correct myself, right? Cincinnati, about to get manhandled tomorrow because they have no defense, and Mike Vrabel's not having it. He's not having it. He's not going to let you go out there and finesse a win. No, not having it. Right? So right? Okay. No Chase, no Burrow. Can you say no chance? Chris, bringing the stat jazz. Gonzalez, yeah. Put that right. Patriots getting healthy as well. So, yeah, doggone it. If Chase is out there, then we're talking. It's just, I mean, he's no Jamar Chase, no Burrow. So the Patriots, the Patriots have the opportunity to lay some heavy hands on them. Put the heavy hands on them. Cincy, I'm sorry, Joe, but yeah, but too little, too late. Day late, a couple dollars short. No. All right. Then the Patriots got the Giants at home, Bills at home, Ravens on the road, and then Jets and Dolphins. Right? It's just it doesn't spark the silence in your boy. I just okay. I'm flabbergasted at the turnaround. Okay, but what I'm saying is strike while the iron is hot. What I'm saying is, and my brother can get on here, the Patriots can get a Super Bowl championship this year. This is your boy that said that they were going to have a worse record than the Browns. I said what I said. I'm sticking to it. We go back and get them receipts. But I have to look at what I'm seeing. And you strike when the iron is hot. I was Team Bill. I thought TB12 was dependent on Belichick. I was about the system. What do you say? Your greatest fight as a man is the right to change your mind? Was dead wrong. I was dead wrong. Keeping it 100, 1,000, a million. Wrong. During the pandemic, TB12 took his talents. Ramondre back. Come on now. TB12 took his talents to the Bay Area, as in Tampa Bay. Remember the world shut down? It was a strange time. He's out there in like a park, you know, because you couldn't go here, you couldn't go there. Oh, yes. We'll talk about Kansas City. They're older. All right? I'm getting old. Not as young as I used to be. So Kansas City's older. They're older. But they're still Kansas City. Back to the Patriots. Right? Antonio Brown. He's in some trouble now. Okay, but can we strike like can we put lightning in a bottle for 1 year? Yes. Who was catching touchdown passes in the Super Bowl? Antonio Brown. Who came to live with Tom Brady when the Patriots brought him in and he was out there against the Dolphins the first game balling out? Then he violated one of Belichick's rules. Tom Brady said, we need him. Belichick said, the Patriot way, you got to go. Who got hurt behind that? In retrospect. Shout out to Uncle Shannon. Shout out to Club Shay Shay. Shout out to Nightcap. We don't play a hate, we congratulate. I don't know if, I believe it was Mike Shanahan. It might have been Dan Reeves, but I believe it was Mike Shanahan. I'm going to treat you fairly. I ain't treating you all the same. I'm going to treat you fairly on this team. Your coach believes in you. Your coach got love for you. Your coach is here for you. Right? Dan Reeves and Mike Shanahan. Hall of Fame coaches as far as I'm concerned. Don't believe Dan Reeves got that Super Bowl that he deserved. But Mike Shanahan most certainly got his Super Bowls. I'm treating you fairly. I'm not treating you all the same. No. When Bill Russell didn't want to practice, what did he do? He came in and read the doggone paper. He came in and read the paper. That's what he did. You know what Red told everybody else looking at Bill Russell? He said, Bill's reading the paper today. That's what he's doing. You know what the rest of you guys are doing? You're on the line practicing. Let's go. Sprint, 30 seconds. Go. Bill's reading the paper. The rest of you are practicing. Yeah, Tommy Heinsohn. Yeah, John Havlicek. Yeah, Bob Cousy. Yeah, Sam Jones. You're practicing. Bill's reading the paper. How'd that work out for the Celtics? Famous picture of Bill, right? How'd that work out? I'm treating you fairly. I'm not treating you all the same. We look back on that situation with Antonio Brown that first year when he was, but he was still AB. Violated the rule, had to go. You know who they needed in that last game against Miami? I believe that game was at home. People in New England, y'all remember. We remember. Against Brian Flores. That they lost. I believe that was Flores' first year, too. You lost that game. Meaning you lost the first round bye. Meaning you had to play the Tennessee Titans in the first round of the playoffs. How'd that game go? Tom Brady's last pass is a Patriot interception. Absolute debacle. You could have used Antonio Brown in some of those situations. But he violated the Patriot way. We look at it very differently now, don't we? I'm treating you fairly. I'm not treating you all the same. What does Mike Tomlin say? I'm dealing with it until I can replace it. Yes, I compared Mike Tomlin to Bill Belichick. I'm going to deal with it until I can replace it. Who's still standing and who's not? Who is still standing and who's not? Tom Brady took that same Antonio Brown, wild man that he was and is, down to Tampa Bay, brought Gronkowski off the couch in terms of his, medicinal, what he was doing. And those two were catching touchdown passes in the Super Bowls. Tampa Bay got that doggone ring. Year one, lightning in a bottle. Now, year two, AB, I don't know. But year one, let's get it. And that's the type of momentum I'm seeing the Patriots have this year. Never mind tomorrow and next year and what the future is going to hold. It looks bright. Drake May, hey, we can check. I've always liked Drake May. I'm not the diehard down in the. I've liked Drake May. I was happy they got Drake May. Okay, Caleb was. I've talked about this. All three can ball. Caleb, the Bears are balling. Gordon, OC from the Lions. Okay, wonderful. Jaden Daniels, sophomore slump. Okay. But vis-a-vis the Patriots and this year, again, a team, I said they're not going to win as many games as the Browns. I'm saying it right now. The schedule, never mind and the schedule does have something to do with this. So we're gonna mind the schedule because Chris brings up a good point with Kansas City, and don't let Kansas City in. It's apples and oranges. Kansas City going to the Super Bowl every single year. Their schedule is a juggernaut. So it's right. So even though where are they at? And they're playing the division. Okay, the AFC. Right, the AFC least was looking like it was going to turn into a real division, but the Dolphins, okay, Bills, right, are still in the mix, 7-4. They haven't fallen off the pace. The Jets are the Jets. The Dolphins are supposed to be something. Dumpster fire. Excuse me. But we go to the AFC West. Broncos, winners of 8 straight. Okay, remember Sean Payton, as he's starting his system, giving up 70 points to the doggone Dolphins and doesn't know which way is up. 9-2, 8 wins straight. Okay. I'm not, I respect Sean Payton. I'm not a huge supporter, but respect him. And there needs to be respect on his name in terms of this turnaround. Harbaugh, second year, 7-4. Okay. Now the Chiefs, right? They're getting a double, triple whammy right now. We knew the division was going to be a gauntlet. But then being the Chiefs, their schedule is also a gauntlet. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, Patriots, Colts, Broncos have the opportunity to put some distance between themselves. Okay, but then the best of the rest, Bills, 4 losses. Steelers, 4 losses. Ravens, 5 losses. Jacksonville, 4 losses. Chargers, 4 losses. Chiefs, 5 losses. Texans, 5 losses. Chris makes a good point. Don't let Kansas City in. They might not get in. Period. To your point, Chris, let Less was more last year. Less was more last year without Stephon Diggs. But y'all try to do it on a cheap 2 years straight, and it's just biting you in the behind. Okay? Trying to do it right. And never mind how Stephon Diggs has come up under the leadership of Mike Vrabel, and now he's found himself. Are the Bills frauds? Look, I grew up in the awesome 80s and the 90s. I remember Scott Norwood. I remember that year, the 20-19 game, and then the 3 successive Super Bowls after that. I remember when I was an opinionated, outspoken, dare I say, ignorant at times, middle schooler. I was ignorant at times. I was ignorant. I was ignorant. I look back, but that's not here. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss the trials and tribulations of a young Andre King another time. But it's funny, you get older, you have these flashbacks, and you're like, man, what the heck was I thinking? I just could not. I always had to have the last word. If you can imagine that, I always had to have the last word. And I just think back about the middle school me. Woo! And then now working in education, that's why it's a beautiful thing. It's so nostalgic. It's so nostalgic. However you're coming at it, the guy, the parent, educator, whatever but them days when I'm just like, I don't know if I can do it today. I don't know. It's a long day. But I just get the memories of what I was like, and I was like, this is what goes around. It's coming back around. So I can't. I get on the students and I give them the talk but I'm just talking to myself. I'm talking to myself because I was the same, and at times I was worse. Right? Not a bad. Right? Because this is what I get to an educator. Not a bad. Because you're looking at me. I teach. I love school. I love school. I love sports. But in terms of wanted to do things, you got to want to do things my way, and didn't have that patience, which is tough at any age. But you gotta go through the process. What's cool now is, they have, because I was a hyperactive kid. I'm trying to hang on and be a hyperactive adult. But now they have all these ways. It would have been cool, like all these strategies to just, you can do this. You can have a sensory tool. You can, just to kind of, because the teacher's just talking, George Washington never told a lie and cut down a cherry tree. I'm like, what the heck? What does this have to do with Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals? This is crazy. I would get anxious. And so that, I think, contributed to some of my insubordination, if you will. But it's like, let me draw, let me color, let me do something, let me, get that energy out, which is true for a lot of students, particularly our young boys. They have energy, which is, they're supposed to have energy, but they have to be able to get that energy, express that energy within the context of also the cerebral, right? The intellectual piece, the learning piece. So it's helpful, it would have been, but at the same time, I learned how I learned. I was learning how I was learning, right? Patriots, they got a puncher's chance, as good as any, right? For the whole kit and caboodle, folks. The whole kit and caboodle. Because whether they might not be, because this is, again, year one, right? This is just year one of a program and a team that was heading, right? I said it. I'm saying it again. Dumpster fire. Winning the last game to lose the number one pick. Just complete chaos. Okay? This is a Harbaugh, a John Harbaugh situation when he comes to the 49ers. Right? Remember when Harbaugh came to the 49ers? Can't do it. Mike Singletary. Can't win with him. Can't work with him. I can't do it. Famous press conference. Harbaugh took that same team and had them deep in the playoffs. Super Bowl in successive years. Saying he didn't have the chance to build up and get this guy. He took the pieces he had, and just turned it completely around. And that's what Mike Vrabel has done this year. You can imagine now he gets some other pieces, and theoretically it's going to grow. But this team is in the Super Bowl conversation. Has to be. And then can they win a Super Bowl? Let's again. The Patriots weren't supposed to win. I say it, and that I'm saying it again. Right? My point with this is, and I always am going to bring up Gerard Mayo because he does deserve another opportunity. But it's apples and Mike Vrabel's been him. He's been the guy his entire coaching career. Don't think Frankly gets enough credit. I'm still kind of wondering what the heck Tennessee was doing, getting rid of him. Okay? The Steelers have not jettisoned Mike Tomlin. People talking about this, that, and the third. Never mind, all he does is win. Yes, I know they're not competing for Super, but he's winning consistently. And a lot of that has to hear him scheming. The coach can scheme out and win these nip and tuck games. So the Patriots not going to be, as it gets down, the rubber meets the road as they continue to advance. They're not more talented than the Ravens. I'm sorry, I don't care what you're saying. Okay? Might not be as talented as the Bills. Excuse me, the Bills, no. The Broncos. Because Sean Payton has been building this up for 2-3 years. But in a nip and tuck game, Mike Vrabel can coach you to a victory. Right? He can coach, he can scheme some of these wins. You can have confidence that they're not gonna beat themselves. All right, so they got to be right there in that Super Bowl mix. Let me see. Let's do we have anything else? There's a lot we touched on. We're gonna stay. We're gonna play the hits, folks. We're gonna play the hits. We're gonna play the hits here. But let's take a look. Packers at Bears. That's yep. Okay. New York and Detroit. Detroit's kind of cooled off. Detroit has to. Who am I? Let's come back. Let's make it in. Minnesota. Feeling Minnesota. Green Bay. Seattle at Tennessee. Seattle stay hot. All right. We got to discuss whether the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. We got Indy heading to KC. Ravens against the Jets. They stay hot. Told you I got Cleveland. Jacksonville and Arizona. Jacksonville's playing for something. Arizona's done. Philly at Dallas. Dallas, lottery on 3. Atlanta and New Orleans. Battle of the basement. Both these teams trying to get a higher draft pick. And then the marquee matchup that we talked about with the Bucks and the Rams. An injured Bucks team. We got to talk about whether the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. That's where we're going to go to next. Because it's not looking good as far as I'm concerned. It's not looking good as far as I'm concerned. We're going to get the Chiefs up. We're going to get my homeboy. Get him up there for you. And then we're going to dive into where we're at right now. First, we got to get our graphics in order. I'm trying to do a better job as far as graphics are concerned. I feel we're doing. Hey, we got to win on that. We got to win. So let's, where's my, okay, I'm going to come here. I'm going to go there. Boop. Actually, hold on. We're going to do a professional. So we're going to stop sharing. Stop sharing. Come here. We're trying to step it up here, folks. We're trying to step. First, let me go on and see how people's doing. How people doing on television? How's everybody doing out there? We good on the Facebook? Twitter is a little bit right because now you can see me now, but the Twitter stream is a little bit different. Got to work that out. A couple people on the. So we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Let's go ahead and get our. Where we at? We're good. Folks, is it the end of the road for the Kansas City Chiefs? I will go to the. Do we remember Boyz II Men? Do we appreciate Boyz II Men like we need to appreciate them? You belong. I be. Woo! Do we need Boyz II Men for the Kansas City Chiefs? Frankly, I think we need more Boyz II Men in this culture. I'm glad they was brought up. In terms of what they meant, what 90s, late 80s Boyz II Men, Motown Philly, what? You hear Summertime. That's Summertime is a timeless classic. Weather gets nice. You talking? You know what I mean? Oh yeah, woo! You know, I mean, Summertime is just it's a classic, a true, undeniable, indisputable classic. But Boyz II Men had some classics. All right, and we don't hear enough. We need more. We need more Motown Philly. Excuse me. We need more Boyz II Men just in general in our culture. I'm glad I remember. It's just it has to. Right? You talking about what? That Boyz II Men. I will go. I mean, you was feeling it. Them old middle school dances, right? The Kevin Arnold, Winnie Cooper dances. What? Put that Boyz II Men on. Your sweetheart, right? I know there's people out there that married their high school sweetheart. It's because of Boyz II Men. You know they contributed. If you married your high school sweetheart and you was born in the awesome 80s, doggone it, you definitely played Boyz II Men at your wedding. You did. You know what I'm talking about. You did. They deserve some sort of recognition in terms of creating a happy home. We need happy. We need strong, right, connections, successful marriages, and Boyz II Men contributed to all that. That Boyz II Men. We got to do something. We got to get some Motown Philly. I don't care about the copy. I mean, I'm giving you credit, but doggone it, that Motown Philly is right up there. Motown Philly is up there with Summertime. I'm not going to say one or the other, but it's on the same par. You know this. And in terms of back again, shut up there. We need to go house play, kid and play. What? And by the way, bring back Blockbuster. Right? This is the brave new world we're living in right now, folks. If I want to see House Party, never mind, like you know what I mean? We got the DVD, but does anybody even have DVD players? Right? The only reason I have a VHS player is because I'm a member of a historic society. I'm very proud of this. I'm a member of my local Hall of Fame, and we take the VHS and we digitize it so people can have the old high school clips, right? Shout out to Ken Burns, documentary filmmaker, one of my heroes. But we don't have the DVD and the V8. We don't have, so never mind. Remember Laserdisc? Laserdisc was a thing. My point is, if I want to watch House Party, where do I go? It used to be there for me at Blockbuster. You know where you do go, actually? Shut up. You got to go to your local libraries. The libraries have them. I mean, BBD, the East Coast family never skips a beat while cooling on South Street. What? That conscientious hip hop that we had. Said never skips a beat. While cool. And it was almost like man, that hip hop was just a synthesis of jazz and rock, just a synthesis of all these different art forms. And please don't get it twisted. Your boy is about, I love rap. I love all hip hop. You know what I mean? You love to hear the story how the thug live and worry. They duck down in car seats, heat mandatory. Right? That Nasir. Stop. I'm for the culture. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying one versus another. Okay? That Illmatic, the classic. They teach it at Harvard. Stop. I'm for the culture. But doggone it. There's just Boyz II Men, that early, that Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff, it was a certain component of hip hop that is timeless. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Chris. Indeed. Everybody else, join in if you want. We doing awesome 80s. We doing throwbacks. We doing the whole 9 yards. We got to do it. It has to be done. Folks, are the Chiefs done? Are they done? We got to take a look at this, man. They 5-5 right now, so they're already falling off the pace. And the reason we had to come to this segment, they're playing the Colts tomorrow. They're playing the Colts tomorrow. I know Spagnuolo is still up right now. Spags is still up. What's it? It's 11:30. I don't know if Spags is going to get more than 2 hours and 23 minutes of sleep tonight. Steve Spagnuolo ain't getting no sleep tonight, folks. He's not getting any sleep. He's going to have to do it on the adrenaline. Steve Spagnuolo is going to have to, hold on. No, because we know what the Sunday Night Football game is. So this game goes down when? We got the Chiefs and are they they're in the 1 o'clock window. So Steve Spagnuolo getting 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 18 seconds of sleep tonight. He's powering right into that 1 o'clock game. Right into it. And is it on the road too? Is it in Indy? No, it's in KC. By the way, you know who's also not getting any sleep tonight? The Kansas City Chiefs fans. Have you seen, we got to get this for you on screen. People show up to that arena at like 5 a.m. to get their spot in line. The line to get into the Chiefs Stadium at like 7 a.m. Who are these early? So, man, Arrowhead going to be rocking tomorrow. But doggone it, I don't know how I feel about this game. Because Indianapolis is on a move. How many straight have they won? How many straight for Indy? Or did they get a lone loss? What are we doing here? All right, so they lost, and they got back on the winning track. Okay. But the Chiefs are on a 2-game skid. And now they got the doggone Indianapolis Colts coming to town. Must win. I'm sorry. They have to win this game. Unless all these other teams regress to the mean. Chiefs go down a game under 500. So there's no way they're catching the Broncos. Right? The Chargers, are the Chargers off or the Chargers have a cupcake? Chargers are 3 games over. Chargers seem to be off this week. Okay, so you lose this game to the Colts. You're 4 games now behind the Chargers. 7 games behind the Broncos. It's all right. And then what I have to say beyond that is their schedule is ridiculous because they're the Chiefs. So what are we doing? All right, you got the Colts. Okay. Knockdown, drag out. Cowboys are the Cowboys. But then Texans and the Chargers, 2 playoff competing teams back to back. Titans, okay. Broncos, division leader, and then Raiders. So not favored tomorrow. Favorite against the Cowboys. Okay, we'll give them the favorites against the Texans, even though the Texans are on a movement, or on a move. Not favored against the Chargers, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, Titans, yes. Broncos, no. Raiders, yes. Yeah, Chargers off. But it looks like the Chiefs they'll split these last games, or they'll get hot and start knocking teams out. To make the You got them at 10-7. All right, so they're finishing 5-2. Okay. So where are these 5 wins? Beat the Cowboys, beat the Raiders, beat the Titans. That's 3. That means the other 2 wins are going to have to come against the Colts, the Texans. I can give you the Texans. I don't see them beating the Chargers or the Broncos. Am I wrong for that? I'm saying the Chargers and the Broncos are better than the Chiefs right now this year. That's what I'm saying. Parcells, you are what your record says you are. Broncos are 8-2. Chargers are 7-4. Okay. So schedule-wise, you can say, all right, they're only 1 game behind the Chargers in the loss column. Point taken. And because of how this game, right? So there's really not that much of a gap. And you're going to say that they can take the Chargers and the Texans. Right? Texans have gotten hot. Yes, they play in the AFC South, but the AFC South now is not a cupcake because Indianapolis is in the mix. So AFC South, you got Jacksonville, Indiana, and the Texans. So they're playing a little bit more competition than we're used to. So Texans, whether or not CJ Stroud's ever going to return to form, AFC South, vis-a-vis the strength of the Colts, they're no weaklings. Jacksonville, right? Trevor Lawrence has been a dude. Hurts my heart that Travis Hunter's not there. Titans, fine. Raiders, fine. Cowboys, fine. Tomorrow's game, they got to win. And Chris, you think they can lose tomorrow? They can lose to the Colts because you say they're going to beat the Chargers, which that's interesting that you picked them against the Chargers, because Andy Reid is an all-time great coach, but John Harbaugh. I mean, what are we doing here? I don't see a decide, and I feel like the Chargers are just more talented. I feel like the Chiefs are good. No, they've gotten old. They're older. My feeling. You have success, then you stick with your guys, right? You're trying to build success. You're trying to bring in, right, then, and build up these young developing players. So football people out there can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm saying the Chargers are more talented than the Chiefs. I look at the Chiefs as having more experience, clearly. I don't look at them as being more talented. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Right? And, what am I trying to say here? Like, who is the Robin to Mahomes' Batman? Who's the Robin? Are we bringing back Tyreek Hill? Travis Kelce, happy for his engagement, happy for his podcast, happy for his success. He's on my fantasy team. I see what his projections are, right? 10, 11. We're not talking 17, 18, 23, 25, arguably the greatest tight end of all time. That conversation is done, right? It used to be Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski, Tony Gonzalez, greatest of all time. Never mind the Taylor Swift fame and the celebrity and the adulation. He's not being he's getting up there. And never mind, because you can age like fine wine. LeBron's getting up there too. His numbers aren't reflecting the respect that you put on his name. And he's not distracted. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he's gotten old. Shout out to the Coen brothers. Shout out to No Country for Old Men. I sure for this count out 25 years old. Hard to believe. Grandfather was a lawman. Father too. Me and him was sheriffs up at the same time. Him up in Plano and me down here. I think he's pretty proud of that. I know I was. Shout out to No Country for Old Men. Coen brothers, man. Had to see that movie a couple times. I might have discussed, you know what I mean? I didn't get it the first time. Then I watched it again. Right now, I was like, why the heck did this film win Best Picture? What? Then I watched it again. I was like, boop! I know why. Hit me that second time. And then certainly as I get older, woo, that movie speaks to me. No Country for Old Men. Not that I feel like I'm older, you know what I mean? But it speaks to me. It's a well done film. Okay? Kansas City Chiefs have gotten older. Are they old? Are they over the hill? I don't know. I'm not saying, first of all, I do know. No, the answer is no. But what I will say is, let's remember, folks, there was 10 years between chips for Tom Brady. 10 years between chips. I'm going to go ahead and fact that. I'm going to go ahead and fact check that. Right? But I'm standing on what I'm saying. Yes. 02 or 04, 05. 02, 04, 05, 2015. '15, 17, 19. 17, I'm sorry, people in ATL, but you know what it is. You know what it is. 10 years between them. So I'm not putting Patrick Mahomes in any sort of, he's going to have a long, very successful career. Never mind this, pillowcase. And I found out the other day, we're talking about, you can't hit a long snapper in football. You can't hit the long snapper. You cannot hit. That's what? You can't hit the long snapper? Some of these things are going too far. It's gone too far. Some of the rules are spot on. Horse collar, blindside hit. I don't know about the hip drop. The hip drop, I didn't, you hear, Lime, the hip drop I get, but then I don't, it's the hip drop. I'm kind of on the fence. Because I feel like that's one of these things where just like that's a tough one. The hip, I don't like the injuries. Nobody likes injuries, but I would have kept the hip drop tackle and you just have to fall differently, Guy just gonna, bigger than you, that's just gonna fall down. You can't keep, you know what I mean? If this guy's bigger than me and he's just falling, you can't, you're gonna have to lean with him. Right? We see it in basketball. You're a basketball player. You don't just run to try to run through a screen if it's a bigger dude. You gotta absorb that contact and fade. Try to run through a screen with one of these burly centers. You're gonna be running to the sideline with the smelling salt in your nose. You don't run through. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about the hip drop tackle. They tackle you, and it's a bigger guy, and he just starts falling to the ground. Where you got to lean. Maybe you could lean, because with a hip drop tackle in football, if you don't touch the ground, right, then you're still. So hip drop tackle, just fall on the guy and get up. Am I wrong? Football people, am I wrong? Hip drop tackle. You're bigger. You just fall to the ground. I'm just going to fall on you and push you and get the heck back up and keep running. I didn't touch the ground. You touched the ground. I think the hip drop tackle should have stayed. Never mind baseball. Baseball is, woo, I cannot wait for next season with the challenge. Baseball, man. Never mind how I love the Cape League. Baseball is just, they have gotten up off the ropes, the canvas, and are balling. Pitch clock out of this world. Third strike challenge out of this world. The runner needs to start on, and I love how the runner doesn't start on second in the World Series. That was awesome. Had an 18-inning World Series. Awesome. But the runner needs to start on second in the 11th, not the 10th. We got to revise that. We got to get one inning of real baseball, then put that runner on second. But the bases like pizza boxes, no. Outlawing the shift, no. Hit the ball somewhere else. I can play whatever defense I want to play. Hit the ball somewhere else. Football, you can hit a long snapper. Stop it. Back to the Chiefs. Chris is saying 5-2. Okay. Cowboy, and Cowboy. I don't know. The Cowboys are the Cowboys. They're the Cowboys. Just stop. Raiders. Pete Carroll. I love the energy. They're searching landing spot for Kyler Murray there, right? And then the Titans are 1-9. You know, they're just getting pieces and assets. I believe in Cam Ward, but not this year. It's a must win tomorrow. Must win against the Colts. But let's say they lose to the Colts. Chris's scenario, they can lose to the Colts. Then, is that Chargers? I mean, it does make a difference whether it's because the Chiefs Kingdom or what are we doing here? Are we going to the Chiefs Kingdom or are we? Is that Chargers game going to be? Because that might be how the deciding factors. All right, it's the Chargers right. Okay. So Cowboys on the road, but then you got the Texans and the Chargers at home. Those, to Chris's point, okay, I can see how it's at home. So the home field advantage. You can go on the road to Tennessee. That's not a factor. Broncos also at home, right? So they got the Chiefs Kingdom right now is coming through heavy. The Chiefs Kingdom coming through heavy right now. Okay. And let me see, because we're working on a production. We're working on a production. If we can get the Chiefs tail. Let me see if we can get it's just crazy. And this might be a thing just in general at NFL games. No, that's not what I need. I need you to show me. Cars lined up to no. You're not showing me the line. We got a little bit of dead air here. You're not showing me the line. I'm looking for the line. What? That's what I needed. And this might be, I might be, this might be the case in a lot of places. But we're going. This is what the Chiefs are going to need right now, though. Right? Let me just go across. How's everybody doing on the socials? Everybody's good. That's good. Sand City, we in the building. Mi casa, su casa. Let's bring it back. Sand City. And let's take a quick look here.
Starting at just $27,285. We all love our F-150, and with all these amazing new features,
I guess this is the Chiefs, and this is NFL football, right? Y'all say this, this is how it is in any stadium. I got you.
About 5.9% financing for 84 months, available with approved credit.
It's kind of wild to me. You can say, I guess this is the way it is at Gillette too, so on and forth. We got to run it back one more time. No, the previous video.
Starting at just $27,285. We all love our F-150, and with all these amazing new features, the prices have definitely gone up.
Folks, correct me if I'm wrong. I know we got folks that's going to the game tomorrow, the Rams game. Is this like just normal? This might be the reason the NFL is the most popular sport in the country, dare I say. Well, soccer is global, but by far. But this is just normal. You got to get to the stadium at what, 4 o'clock in the morning? And just go back to sleep? So that's the energy is that what's gonna to allow the Chiefs to get the dub tomorrow? Is the fandom gonna be? Is that what we're doing? Do I have a I have to say advantage Colts. I have to. It's nothing against my homeboy. I done made it clear. I feel that the dynasty is going to continue. Right? He's got decades left. He's got decades left. I'm just saying this year, it's going to be, I see it being a feast to famine thing. I don't have the Chiefs making the playoffs. Now you can say the NFL feels some type of way about it, you probably do. Yeah, man. So that line just it's all the way. The line is just miles. They're there. I feel like so that the Chargers, the LA stadium opens up 4 hours before the game. I wonder if that's a rule where the NFL limits it. I feel like other places, the game might be at 4. People are set up at 8 o'clock in the morning. They are there, right? It's like this game is not starting till 4. You guys got 8 hours. They're like, oh, is what it is. We're gonna make a day of it. Hey, it's you're a working class person. Get it. That's I think some of the other that's a good question. I mean, you can tell I haven't been to a Patriots game in a long time. And we get out to the stadium when our high school teams would break through to go out and support the high school teams. But yes, the tailgating and the goings on. It's a beautiful thing. It seems like I watched Donnie Brasco yesterday. I keep saying that. That's why I get the line. Lefty from Donnie Brasco. It's a beautiful thing, right? That's where the word fugazi came into the culture. Shout out to Donnie Brasco, right? Brought fugazi into the culture, a word that I subsequently borrowed and utilize. Okay, so believe we're gonna leave it there. For the NFL, we're gonna leave it there for the NFL, right? And we're gonna move over to the NBA. We got a lot to discuss in the NBA. And we'll take the advice. We're gonna take the advice of Big Ben Maller. And we're gonna play the hits. We're gonna start with the hits. But we got much more to get to. We're gonna start with the Lakers, but we got to talk about the young Lions. You got to talk about situation with LaMelo Ball and him wanting out, wanting to trade, and who the heck wants to trade for LaMelo Ball? We're gonna talk about this young man Con Kneppel out of Wisconsin that's balling out of control, getting the job done. Gonna talk about young Con. Right? Chris, you speaking facts right now. Speaking facts. We'll get to, what I mean? I got to speak on what you're talking about. Because if we're talking about the Lakers, we have to bring up the Celtics as well. Chris, before we get into the situation, right? Celtics are crying. That's what they're doing. Cry me a river. Okay? Because you gave up a dynasty when you traded Drew Holiday. Are the Celtics tanking? Too talented to tank. Right? I saw a really good clip. We'll get that we'll get that for Slice of Life. There's no end in sight for this episode of Sand City, folks. So there's no end in sight for this episode of Sand City Sports, folks. We're in the building right now. We're making it do what it do. Okay? Passion project, full throttle. Been yes, busy week, but we're here for all of it. We're here for all of it. So, yes, sir. Chris talking about the Celtics and are the Celtics tanking? Pacers are in position to tank, right? Porzingis on my fantasy team, playing for Quinn Snyder, balling out of control. Okay. I have no sympathy. No sympathy. None. Zero. Zilch. And any, for the Celtics in terms of getting rid of specifically Drew Holiday. Chris, you brought up Crispy P and Porzingis. I got no sympathy for them dismantling a dynasty. I made that point on the Odd Couple. Rob Parker, we pushed back. By the way, shout out to the Odd Couple on YouTube, Odd Mob. That's curated by Sean from Sacramento. We not play hating, we congratulating around here. Check it out. It's outstanding. You heard it here first, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. Check them out. But I called this out to the dynasty. I'm going to continue to call this out to the dynasty because that is what was lost. And there's no two ways about it. A dynasty. Drew Holiday, Derek White. Dare I say Danny Ainge, Dennis Johnson. A dynasty. To go along with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in their prime and Chris BP. A dynasty. That was dismantled for the second apron. I have no time for that argument. You knew. You meaning the Celtics ownership and the new ownership. Wyc Grousbeck, you sold at the top of the market after they won the championship. I got no problem with that. But the rationale that we heard and we keep hearing, this is a situation with the Lakers, is that this team is being sold, but the people there that know what the heck they're doing are going to stay on to guide the ship. And it's not happening, and it's bad for those teams, and it's bad for the NBA. Mark Cuban not being in Dallas and having real say-so is how you get this Luka Doncic disaster. And we can touch on Nico Harris and how he's been the fall guy, but there's no way, and I'm not buying credible people, and we're going to talk about the league, but credible people have chimed in. I'm not buying. Respect to all the credible people, Shams, everybody else that's chimed in. The Dallas Mavericks were unanimous on breaking up a team that just made it to the NBA Finals and had a crown jewel, generational player and Luka Doncic leading the charge, a coach like Jason Kidd, who proved that you can get through to the most mercurial personalities that exist in all of team sports. I'm talking about a one Mr. Kyrie Irving, who Jason Kidd got the best out of, something that has not happened since that young man left Elizabeth, New Jersey, playing for Kevin Boyle at St. Patrick's. And Jason Kidd already all of a sudden gets the best out of Kyrie Irving. What happened to Kyrie Irving in 2016 when he's with the Cavaliers, hitting the shot to break them, to push them forward to a championship? Then his name gets whispered in trade talks, and he wants out. And what did LeBron James say? Bring him to camp, and we'll work it out. Dan Gilbert traded him for Isaiah Thomas and a bunch of Chi-Chi beans. Who was right in that? LeBron James. You should have never let him go. But after letting Kyrie go, what did he do? Burn through culture, burn through teams and locker rooms at every destination. In Boston, in Brooklyn. And that was my feeling in terms of what was going to happen in Dallas. But oh no. Somehow, some way, Jason Kidd gets through to him. He gets him and Luka Doncic on the same page. And what happens? They break through and make the NBA Finals when they were not supposed to. They weren't better than the Minnesota Timberwolves team that knocked off the defending champion Denver Nuggets in the second round. No, they were not. But they were better that series, and they broke through, and then they lost to a dynasty in the Boston Celtics. So you're not going to tell me less than a calendar year after that, that universally within the organization, they wanted to blow that up. Boulder Dash. Made it clear how I feel about it. Had to do with the NBA, the Mavericks ownership, and wanting to build a casino connected to the arena or in close proximity, and that having been something that was agreed upon before they bought the team, and then it didn't go through how they wanted, and they rage traded. Right? We have this saying in the culture, rage quit. No, they rage traded Luka Doncic for nowhere near equal value. Something that would have never happened had Mark Cuban had the controlling say or a decisive say at the table. Wouldn't have happened. And the Dallas Mavericks would still be in the championship conversation with the team that they had as constituted. Okay, now they are descending. Boston Celtics, new owner. Wyc Grousbeck was supposed to stay on and have say-so. New owner, what does he want to do? Cry about the second apron and trade away the player, the X factor who you can't trade away and still be successful, that being Drew Holiday. The player that made that team distinctive. Clear-cut championship favorites. What did Brad Stevens say? You don't think you're going to be able to get a player like Drew Holiday. Only reason they could get Drew Holiday is because Joe Cronin, GM for the Trailblazers, was at war with Pat Riley, where Dame Lillard wanted to go. So he was not trading Jrue Holiday to where Jrue probably wanted to go, Miami, under any circumstances. And he couldn't go back to Milwaukee, so Brad Stevens swooped in and got him. Only reason he was available to the Celtics in the first place. And he got him, and he put together a dynastic 4-year window. But listen, folks, if you're concerned about the second apron, or first of all, if Wick had still owned the team, I think he would have just bitten the bullet, won a championship, and took the second apron hit. Then you could have signed a 2-year deal. You could have signed a shorter deal with Jrue Holiday at the inception, and he would have been willing. I'm 10 toes down on this with signing a team-friendly deal to stay with the Celtics. Just like yes, I still say even though they got rid of my coach and Tom Thibodeau, my New York Knicks have done. Jalen Brunson signed a deal. Mikal Bridges signed a deal to allow the team to stay under the second apron and keep the team together. Jrue Holiday, there's no two ways about it that he would have done that. And Jaylen Brown would have done the same thing, and Jason Tatum would have done the same thing. Come at me on this, folks. I'm game. That was one way of doing it, or you just take the second apron hit and win a championship. Because, yes, the Celtics could still have won a championship this year with Jason Tatum coming back. Oh, well, yeah. Achilles is a year. The Celtics would have been in the playoffs. He would have been cleared to come back. Obviously, it's going to take him time. But they could have had Jason Tatum for when they really needed Jason Tatum in the Eastern Conference Finals and the NBA Finals. Yes, they could have. But no, they wanted to trade away Jrue Holiday, which ended their championship window immediately. Done. Don't even talk to me about Anthony Simons or anybody else. You needed a winner, a proven team first, culture celebrating, for lack of a better term. As much as Kyrie Irving burned through team cultures with no regard for anything, since he came into the NBA, by the way, ran Mike Brown out of Cleveland, ran Byron Scott out of Cleveland, amongst others. That's how much Jrue Holiday builds up your team culture and chemistry to be able to win at the highest levels. Yes, the Bucks were down 2-0 against the Suns. They didn't blink. They won 4 straight. End of story. And you trade that guy away. No excuses. Absolutely unacceptable. Second apron or not, I said what I said. Because you're trading championships. You're going to take a hit to win a championship. Mark Cuban already said that as well. You get your money back when you sell the team. Or you sign a deal that's going to give you the flexibility to begin with, one or the other. Right? Maybe we need to be talking more about this in Boston. And I'm putting myself on the Cape in that conversation. Maybe Wick does deserve some of this smoke. If he had held on to the team, either way. Bottom line is, it should have just been handled to begin with. As soon as the Miami Heat won the championship in 2006, what was their general manager? What was Pat Riley talking about? Having enough cap space to go after LeBron James when he come onto the free agent market. So don't act like these teams don't look ahead. Heat won a championship in 2006. There's some interesting narratives about that 2006 championship and Dwayne Wade going to the free throw line every single, all throughout that series. Shout out to Bill Simmons and the Ringer. By the way, Bill Simmons and the Ringer, they're the ones that broke Brian Colangelo, who was a good general manager and is a part of basketball royalty. His dad, Jerry Colangelo, who is the reason that we had defensive 3 seconds to getting rid of the illegal defense, which was hurting the game, and who completely revamped Team USA basketball. But Brian Colangelo had the burner account sending out subliminals about Joel Embiid. How have those aged? Is Joel Embiid still inconsistent and unavailable? Yes. But the Ringer broke that story. Bill Simmons. Just like Pablo Torre is out there breaking stories. Okay, and providing new information and changing the culture and doing an outstanding job. But Bill Simmons, talking about that Mavs championship, or that the Heat championship, but they got some favorable calls, which they probably did. But again, the Heat already looking forward to the next free agent window. So the Celtics, they were aware that the second April was going to be a thing and could have just gotten ahead of it with their deals for Jrue Holiday, for Chris P. But they didn't. All right, so you take the hit and you win a championship. Because, can anybody say, the Celtics as constituted can beat the Oklahoma City Thunder as constituted. They can beat them. And the Houston Rockets and the Denver Nuggets and anybody else. They were on par. And I know the West has gotten better. Denver's gotten a lot better. Cam Johnson's a better fit. It's a win-win. Michael Porter Jr. wants to cook and lose, so you can do that in Brooklyn. Right? Cam Johnson coming out there to win championships. They're just stacked. You bring in Tim Hardaway off the bench. You bring in Valanciunas off the bench. They're loaded. It's also interesting that they got rid of Mike Malone and then brought in Bowen back to Denver, who Mike Malone said don't give up on. We need this guy, and they let him go to Indiana, and he took Indiana to a championship. So that's interesting. In terms, I was not in favor of Mike Malone being fired. They've been good since he left, new voice, whatever, but it's crazy. He said don't get rid of Brown. Who's a Massachusetts guy, by the way, played for BABC. Shout out to BABC. Shout out to Leo Papil. Yep. I've been upset since the day it happened. Okay? So maybe you can go ahead and check it. It's outlandish. You don't get rid of Jrue Holidays under any circumstances. I said what I said. You take the hit and keep it moving. Well, no, you take the hit, especially if you're a new owner. Right? Well, I paid this. You're going to get that money back when you sell it. I don't want to hear it. I don't care if you have to. You don't get rid of Jrue Holiday, is what I'm saying to you. I don't care if you have to decimate your bench, meaning completely revamp your bench. That's what the Celtics did in 2008. They traded away all those bench players to get KG, players that we've forgotten about. Haven't forgotten about Al Jefferson, but all the best of the rest, we can't remember. You don't trade away a Jrue Holiday. And based on what Chris P is doing, you do it any other way besides that. Care if you got to beg, borrow, steal, whatever. So the Celtics fans are upset. They should be. I don't know how people thought that Anthony Simons, young guy, scoring guy that doesn't have anywhere near the track record of winning, doesn't know who the heck he is, might not even want to be in Boston, is going to be an appropriate equivalent for Jrue Holiday. Stop it. The draft class is loaded. Only, Chris, you're talking about tanking. It's hard to tank in the East. And especially the Celtics, because never mind, the East is just so beat up, and you got teams that, like the Wizards, are going to be awful. The Hornets are showing well. I respect Charles Lee, former Celtics assistant, by the way, in terms of the brain trust that Brad Stevens brought in after the whole Ime Udoka disaster when Joe Mazzulla was all by himself. Getting, going down 3-0 to the Miami Heat, coming back, winning 3 straight, then getting embarrassed in Game 7. He was all by himself. He needed help. Brad Stevens could have brought in help earlier in that season. I thought they should have brought in Frank Vogel. It was so much, chaos going on, and MA guys, Brad guys, who we just going to, and they didn't have a brain trust. They were outmaneuvered. Never mind Spoelstra just by himself. And then Brad Stevens rightly recognized that. He brought in Sam Cassell. He brought in Charles Lee. Now the coach, Charles Lee is a Coach Bud guy. Coach Bud is a good coach and a Coach Pop guy. Brought in Emil Jefferson, an assistant coach at Duke. And then he brought in Jeff Van Gundy as a special consultant. Right? So Jeff Van Gundy's now with the Clippers. Steve Ballmer headhunted him. Celtics shouldn't have allowed that, but Daddy Warbucks, like the real Daddy Warbucks came and said, we need you. So he's out. Charles Lee out, head coaching job. Those are guys that need to be replaced. I'm going to talk about why the Celtics lost last year. They lost 2 head coaches. You think that you can just lose two quality head coaches in terms of what Charles Lee is doing in Charlotte, production he's getting out of Colin Knappel, which we will discuss. Jeff Van Gundy's been a good coach since back in the day. He's always been a good coach. And they have not been replaced. So that's why the Celtics losing all those 20-point leads to my New York Knicks when they had the right coach in Tom Thibodeau. Because Joe Mazzulla is not Tom Thibodeau. Joe Mazzulla is a lot like Gerard Mayo. I said what I said. A lot is pushing it because Joe Mazzulla did do pretty well. He got them to the Eastern Conference Finals. And Gerard Mayo in his first time in the big chair, it was an absolute train wreck. So they're not the same. But they're wet behind the ears. Mazzulla is, but he's growing, learning on the job. First year, just thrown into the fire, you saw the results. There's no way that Boston Celtics team should have lost to the Miami Heat team without their second best player in Tyler Hero. Never mind gotten blown out and embarrassed in Game 7 after winning 3 straight at home. No way. No way, no how. You know where there is a way? Because you got one coach that's, an apprentice, and then you have him going up against a sensei in Eric Spoelstra, arguably the best coach in the NBA. So you're going to see, and by the way, Eric Spoelstra with who? Gabe Vincent and Caleb, Martin, guys that the Heat developed with Heat culture, with my way or the highway, meaning you will get your body fat down and you won't be out on South Beach partying, or else, I don't care who you are, and he gets through the players. People always want to complain about my man Tom Thibodeau, elite coach in the NBA. How's iHeart doing for OKC? He's a Tibbs guy. Okay. Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns starting in the doggone All-Star game. Mike Brown's coming in. The Knicks are doing good. He's coming in fine. But Tibbs was doing just fine as well. Back to the Celtics, people being upset. The writing was on the wall when it happened. Any basketball person knew it. I was surprised that more basketball people in Boston would talk about the second apron as if this was, just like a salary dump that had to happen. You dismantled a dynasty. It's the equivalent of the Golden State Warriors trading Klay Thompson. At the height of the Golden State Warriors. That's what they did. Right? Oh, well, we still have Draymond and we still have, KD. We still, no. You don't give away the glue. So, Chris, back to your point relative to, the draft class is just bonkers. Bonkers. People have been saying that. It's just ridiculous. Peterson out of Kansas is, out of this world. Debanza, the pride of Brockton, Massachusetts. Okay. Boozer. I mean, that's you're talking Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May. Just pick. Because everybody's getting somebody that's generational. Everybody's getting somebody that's generational in that top 3. This kid, Koa Pete, for Arizona, who's a Compton Magic guy, has been like, it's just bananas. But the first 3 specifically are just out of this universe. Like in each one, like don't sleep. Cameron Boozer, his old man. Period. AJ Debanza is what are we talking about here? Like Cameron Boozer is his father. All-star, gold medalist. AJ Debanza, Paul George with some edge. Not that PG doesn't have edge. He's obviously been injury prone, but we're talking like prime Paul George. Indiana, Paul George. OKC, Paul George. That's the Bansa. And Darren Peterson, he's it's just you can't his ability, right? Because both Darren Peterson is almost like you could put him at the point. He reminds me of Reed Shepherd, and Reed was balling last night, and his ability to just flat out shoot it, as well as run the team. He Darren Peterson, and why he's won is a guy that people feel like he could be a James Harden type, where he could just have the ball in his hands and just affect everything. He doesn't have to play off the ball because he's so smart and can do. But then, like, his shooting, like, is his marksmanship. So, but no, the Celtics. They're two. First of all, we don't do that. I say we. Like the Heat don't tank. When they brought in Jimmy Butler, and and should they tank and get? We don't do that here. We respect our fans. We respect ourselves. Utah's been tanking for like 8 years since Danny Ainge got there, and who knows what he's doing? What has that got in Utah? And they have a good coach in Will Hardy. I like what Utah's doing now with the young guys, Ace Bailey and the kid from Florida. Like, I like the youth movement, but they've been awful, and they haven't gotten the draft picks that they wanted to get to do whatever the heck they wanted to do. So Celtics, culture-wise, and then they're just too talented. Like, Derek White is going to be an all-star. Jaylen Brown's an all-star. Peyton Pritchard, 6th man of the year. They'll win games just on the strength. And now, and they would win games even if the East was healthy, but it's not healthy. Philly's not healthy. Pacers aren't healthy. Milwaukee doesn't know who the heck they are. The East is weak right now. It would have been the weaker conference anyway. I am bitter against the Knicks, while respecting and hoping, and being, I'm a tri-state area guy, so I want the Knicks to do well. Mike Brown is not Mike Brown can come in and do some things, and you can keep that same energy type of thing, and they can. But Mike Brown's not going to make any talent. Mike Brown's not going to make Karl Anthony Towns play defense. He's not making him play defense. So the structural things, no. Detroit, I love to see it. 112 straight. Dwayne Casey knows his business. Cade Cunningham, right? Jalen Duren. Monty Williams did not want that job. Right? You can just, right? Talk about money. If you're burnt out, you're burnt out. If you're too through, you know what I mean? It's kind of similar with players that come into, like, human beings. You give them a lot of money, so now you don't have problems anymore. Is that how it works? Or does it make your problem? Does it exacerbate your problems that you already have? Not that Monty Williams was troubled and he's just burnt out of basketball. He didn't want to do it. And so Detroit just gave him, I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, so no, I still don't want to do this. But you've made me filthy rich. I still don't want to do this. I need time away. People can identify that. Like, you're burnt out at your job. Oh, we're going to give you time and a half. We're going to double your salary. I still can't stand my job. I still can't stand it here. I need to get away. I have to remove myself. They didn't let Monty Williams remove himself, so what do you get? You get 20 straight losses. Not that Monty Williams wants to be that guy to just, I have a 5-year contract, so now you have to keep me. I don't want to be here. So you're going to eat it. Which they did. Now, Dwayne Casey, capable coach. Excuse me, hold on. I believe it's Dwayne Casey. Let me double check this. Or is it Bickerstaff? I think it's Bickerstaff. I'm saying Casey. Yeah, it's Bickerstaff. Yeah. Keep saying Dwayne Casey. corrected that. Bickerstaff, who was a good coach for Cleveland. Cleveland brings in Atkinson, right? Bickerstaff stayed, so correct that. Right? But they got the young pieces. And so they're on the move. Toronto is shocking to me. I didn't agree with getting rid of Masai Ujiri. They have 18 small forwards, but they're believing, they're buying in. Great. Cleveland doesn't skip a beat. Heat culture. Knicks. I passed on VJ Edgecombe. I kick myself every single day. I don't kick myself. I should have remembered that he plays for the Sixers and Joel Embiid's not going to be there, and neither is Paul George. So I should have remembered that. But I didn't. Nick Nurse knows his business, got them believing. Quinn Snyder knows his business, got them believing. Orlando, so the East, and the Celtics at 8-8, right? Bulls got rid of some of the bad attitudes. Deadwood, believing with Billy Donovan, Montas Boulias, Josh Giddey, with a quality coach in Billy Donovan. Celtics middling. You traded away Drew. I've ad infinitum, and then Tatum's not there, so you had 4, or Crispy's not there, so you had 5. Now you're only down to 2. All right, so you're not going to be right. Bucks, Giannis, they just want to keep doing the same thing. Charlotte, okay, now we're getting into just the awful teams. Okay, Charlotte 4-12, gave them a little bit too much credit, even though I do believe Con Knepel's development. Charles Lee, respect. Brooklyn, Michael Porter Jr. is happy, scoring a bunch of points. They're awful. So, Chris, these are the teams that are, the Pacers, stop it. Okay? You trade away Miles Turner for nothing. Halliburton's hurt. But the Pacers should have more than 2 wins. Wizards with 1 win. No shame in their game. Pelicans fire. Right? No shame in their game. Brooklyn, Indy, Washington, New Orleans, Joe Dumars, please. Sacramento, great job getting rid of Mike Brown and trading away, players. New Orleans, Sacktown, Washington, Indy, Brooklyn. Right? They're in the hunt for this to get into this draft. Right? Celtics, they're not. There's just not that level of dysfunction. And lack of talent. So the Celtics are just going to spend this year in no man's land. I don't know. Maybe you can convince Drew to come back. I just don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, honestly. And am I being overly dramatic about this? No, I'm not. Okay, they're a good team with Derek White, JB, and JT. They're good. Are they better than are they better than these ascending teams? No, they're not. They're not better than an ascending Detroit team. They're not better than an ascending Cleveland team. If all things remain the same, they're not better than the Knicks. They weren't better than them last year when they had their full complement. And then teams with just, elite cultures. The Heat, no. Or the Heat, maybe, but you're gonna have to outmaneuver a basketball savant. Savant is, but you're gonna have to outmaneuver arguably the best coach in basketball. No, Joe Mazzulla is not a better coach than Erik Spoelstra. And if Erik Spoelstra has pieces, near comparable pieces, he's gonna beat you. So no. Right? They're not more talented than the Magic. They're not more talented than the Hawks. Maybe the Hawks, fine, you could say that, but the Magic are better than them. Yeah. They're a play-in team. And then next year you can say you trade away Drew Holiday and you become the Milwaukee Bucks, who traded away Drew Holiday. That's who the Celtics are. And I know I got LeBron on the screen, and we're going to talk about LeBron. Maybe I should have switched it. When I go deep into a narrative, maybe I should switch the screen. But it doesn't relate, but you see what I'm saying. We're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to finish this point, but we're going to get our graphics right. Going to get our graphics correct. In the meantime, in between time, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me see here. Oh, boy. Minor production issue. I got to find the right, all right, here, we're dealing with some. We're good for the show. Show is good. We got to get the Celtics graphic up there because I've been talking about them since time immemorial. Going to get our Celtics art up there. Every time I need a certain image now. All right, I'm going to give it one more try. I'm not backing down. This is a good one. Let's get this up there. All right. And it'll just be 1 second. Yes, sir. Yep. Computer's working overtime during this dead air. Seeing that it's takes some time to. I got the image, but then I got to convert it to another image in order to get the correct one. Over the river and through the freaking woods. But we got through it. They got through it. I got through it. And now we can get the correct art that we need to have the conversation that we've been having. But we haven't had the correct art, which is no good. We got to straighten that out, folks. We got to straighten that out. A solid point was brought up. We're going to speak to it. So the Celtics are a 41-41 team. That's what they are. Okay? Not bad enough for the lottery. Barely good enough for the playoffs. So they're going to be a playing team. But not just for this year, for the foreseeable future. Okay? Unless somehow they come to their senses and bring back Jrue Holiday. Because the pieces don't fit anymore. You got JB and JT, two generational forwards, and not a point guard. Derek White can play point guard. He's more of a scoring guard. Jrue Holiday is a quintessential point guard, floor general, who plays tremendous defense and can, by the way, score with the best of them. Right? But you don't have a point guard anymore. Never mind his leadership. Never mind how he sets your culture, right? Patrick Mahomes is a supernova, talent-wise, and equally culture-wise. Team guy, good guy, want to be around him type of a guy. Took less money after winning the first Super Bowl to give the Chiefs the flexibility to keep the pieces around him type of a guy. Dare I say, did you notice what I just said there, folks? Took less money? Took less money, right? What Jrue Holiday would have otherwise done had you asked him in order to avoid the second apron, but you didn't. Okay? So, oh, well, the Celtics, they're going to have to okay, the Celtics went to the NBA Finals with Marcus Smart as a point guard. It wasn't enough. They showed well in the beginning of that series. They didn't have enough because they didn't have a point guard. Marcus Smart is not and has never been a point guard. He's a scoring guard. Right? You bring in Derek White now, another scoring guard who's more of a playmaker, less of a me-first guy. Marcus Smart always wanting to be on the same tier as JB and JT when he's nowhere near and not going to be. That was a big point for Marcus Smart. All right, there's three of us. No, there's two. There's two. It's JB and JT. And you need to be a big brother and pat them on the back and encourage them or get the heck out of the way. Derek White, personality-wise, has been able to get the heck out of the way and allow JB and JT to clearly be the epicenters of the team. And you know who else? Even though he, could have pulled rank, but Jrue Holiday was also willing to get out of the way. Got a bit space there for a second. I'm back, folks. Okay? Right? Chris Paul is going to be his last season. Like that he put it out there, right? He's was kind of on the fence, but then he put it out there. It's going to be his last season. So people can celebrate him appropriately. Contributions to the game. Chris Paul, same high school class as LeBron, 03, did a year at Wake Forest. And then he came into the NBA 04. Might have been 05. Did he do 2 years at Wake Forest? I feel like Chris Paul might have been 05 with Darren Williams. I'm going to have to look that up. He certainly served notice at Wake Forest from day one. Yes, he did. And then we go from there. Celtics playing on 3. Let's get it. All right. I don't think actually I know. Okay. The Lakers and the show, LeBron James, he has sciatica, which is something that generally affects senior citizens. And next year, the storylines, there's going to be no shortage. And frankly, I don't have a problem with that because they're the Lakers, Hollywood, Showtime, the whole 9 yards. This is a team that could be in the conversation, in the hunt. Or they could be like the Boston Celtics, playing on 3. Based on arguably the greatest player of all time, if not top 2, 3, whatever you want to say. Right? And just like Chris Paul, who, was kind of, and then now, okay, I'm retired. Let's put the wheels in motion. Let's start the coronation, into my golden years, whatever. Right? LeBron James, I think it remains to be seen. That's the optimistic view. The other view is that we're just going to continue with the secondary, sensational, media-friendly, nonsensical storylines about LeBron and what am I trying to say here, folks? Anything other than playing. Listen, LeBron has his media empire. So I don't have an issue with him having the Mind the Game podcast, which is tremendous. And doing the shop and starring in movies and signing up-and-coming players to Clutch Sports like Anthony Edwards. Right? So he can have his media, conglomerate and still play for the Lakers. He's done that. What I'm talking about is the division of sentiment within the Lakers from the team, Luka Doncic, Reeves, Ayton, Kenneth, that started off well in the West, and LeBron, yes, fitting in with a going thing. Everybody respects you. Everybody realizes what you mean to the league. All right? But it's not going to be your way. It's going to be our way. And at the end of the conversation, it's going to be Luka's way. Okay? Folks, do we remember Scottie Pippen? When Phil Jackson drew up a play for Tony Kukoc, 94 NBA second round against the New York Knicks. What did Scottie Pippen do? He wouldn't go in the game. Okay, they're about to be a dynasty. I'm interested in how. Okay, and the firing of the Buss brothers follows the trajectory, right? It's Jeannie is the Buss brothers were around. Like, I don't know what exactly they did. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. It's Jeannie that's had her fingerprints on this through the highs and the lows. Right? Signing LeBron James. First of all, bringing Magic Johnson in to run the team. Magic Johnson, LeBron was coming to LA with whether Magic wanted him there or not. But then the entire, Rob Pelinka, Magic Johnson beef, Magic Johnson just sent him out of here. Even though Magic had a part in bringing in Rob Pelinka, Kobe's agent, to do the job, which he's capable of doing, but doing it his way, which means not having complete fidelity to Magic, and Magic having no time for that and just flying the coop. You mean he's going to spend money, and he's not afraid of the second apron? Is that what we're talking about? So if he's going to spend money and he's not afraid of the second apron, then he'll give LeBron James the extension that he doesn't have, which to me is the reason he's in his feelings. Or he's going to let LeBron James go and go out and get, right? Because it's LA and people want to play with Luka Doncic. So is he going to get Anthony Edwards? Is that what you're telling me? I don't know if folks saw how the Timberwolves gave up an 8-point lead with under a minute to go in the play-in tournament. Anthony Edwards looking disinterested. A team that's been to the Western Conference Finals two of the last 2 years and gotten embarrassed in both times. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Daddy Warbucks is here now. I'm finna make it rain. we forget that. We gonna make it snow. We doing tsunamis over here. That's what we're doing right now. Okay, I'm here for it. Because Jeannie made it clear. LeBron plays for our team. He plays for our team. And no, you ain't getting no extension. We need to talk further. You ain't getting that extension. No. Joker's interesting. Giannis more so. I can see Giannis before Joker. I think Joker, he's happy where he's at. I didn't like them getting rid of Mike Malone, but Joker obviously okayed it, right? So they're winning. They're loaded. I also don't like the fact that you got rid of Mike Malone and then stacked the deck. You brought back Bruce Brown. You bring in Cam Johnson. You bring in Valanciunas. You bring in Tim Hardaway. Mike Malone could have used all that, but that's neither here nor there. Don't get rid of somebody and then, load up the pantry. Let him have all those resources and then see. But whatever. Personality-wise, he's tough on people. You won a championship with somebody being tough on you. So I don't know what we're doing. But Denver seems to have it going. The Bucks are going nowhere fast. Giannis talking about, he wants to do it the hard way. He's going to do it no way. Because they're not winning under any circumstances. He likes the frozen north, whatever. But yeah, LeBron goes, bring in Giannis, partner him with start the new thing. Giannis, you're from Greece. You're from a warm weather, tropical place anyway. Let's get it going. So if that's how then it would be, Chris, you're talking my language right now. And dare I say, like, if you're going to do it that way, all right, go big game hunting to get a megastar. But then you could also re-sign LeBron James if you can't get the megastar for another year or two. He wants to be in LA no matter what he says. It's good for his business. It's good for his brand. Talk about going back to Cleveland. You don't star in movies in Cleveland. You star in movies in LA. So that's why you're there. So he wants to continue, with his business. Now, again, you can talk about Cleveland. And by the way, Cleveland already has it going. So they're not bringing in LeBron James just to bring in LeBron James. Right? You stay in LA, and then you go back to Cleveland for a day to retire. But Chris, if you're saying the new owner is going to do what the Celtics owner should have done and be willing to spend to actually win championships, then wonderful. Rather than the crying me a river that's going on and the hand-wringing. What's going on, fine. But for this year's, but in terms of what's happening now, in the moment, this year, and as this reorganization is going on, if the owner is of that mind, okay, it's time to have a meeting of the minds with LeBron James and get him on board. Get him on board. Okay. I'm not, what do you mean by I think the Lakers have the right guys. I don't see right Austin Reeves, Connect. They brought in, these are guys they need shooters around Luka to run his ISO 5-out style of offense. Shooters and rim runners. Okay? So I don't know how much cleaning of house they're going to have to do. What I do know is that we need the sideshow stuff, the subliminal, to cool off and go the way of the dodo bird. Okay? And for LeBron to feel as comfortable in his Robin role as Kyrie did in his Robin role in Dallas. That's what I'm saying. There ain't no slight to LeBron James to be Robin to Luka Legend. Not Larry Legend, Luka Legend. There's no shame in that because Father Time is undefeated. You know what there is in that? A chance to compete. Not to be the favorite, but to compete for a championship. It's apples and oranges, but we remember like David Robinson when Tim Duncan came through. You know what I mean? Austin better realize he's not going to get $40 million anywhere. Who's going to give Austin Reeves $40 million? The Washington Wizards, they're saving up for AJ DeBanza. All the tanking teams are, to Chris, your point, in the sweepstakes for the next generation of stars. So if Austin Reeves wants to go the Jonathan Kuminga route, he can get Jonathan Kuminga results. No. Seek help elsewhere. No. Right? So come to your senses. Think of something, 30, whatever. Austin, I don't know. He's a good player. He's a good player, sure. Reminds me of who did Oklahoma City bring in? They brought in Caruso, another Laker. Is he a rich man's Caruso? Maybe. But let's not get delusional. I'm going to pay Austin Reeves $40 million, so therefore I can't pay Anthony Edwards $300 million. What did you see what I'm saying here? So no. You're the third fiddle, if that, on a championship team. Grow where you're planted and keep it moving. Right? Lake Show, LeBron. You're still LeBron. You're still top 2 all time. You're just in your 40s. Yeah, 36 mils. I'd rather have Reeves because he's a winner. Michael Porter Jr. played for a winner, but didn't. Right? Austin Reeves will do the little things that winning teams do. Defense, rebounding, energy, right? Michael Porter Jr., I want to score. I want touches. I want shots. Okay, we're not going to get fully to it this episode, but we're going to talk about LaMelo. And we're going to talk about this idea of winning in the valuation. Did we learn nothing from Moneyball? Did we learn nothing from Billy Beane? Do you want to buy players or do you want to buy wins? You want to buy players? Take Michael Porter Jr. You want to buy wins? Pick up Austin Reeves. Shout out to Billy Beane. Right? Yeah. He's a winner. Invest in that guy. But back to the Lakers as in right now, this moment. It's, Rome's not built in a day. You don't go from and LeBron James can understand what it means to be, Caesar, what it means to be the epicenter of power. But nothing lasts forever. And this is as good a deal as anyone could ever ask for. Okay? To play with Luka, to have this new identity, it's new. Am I saying LeBron James is Michael Jordan with the Wizards? No, he's better than Michael Jordan was with the Wizards. But Michael Jordan with the Wizards didn't have Luka Legend. Right? This is an opportunity. Take the opportunity. And I know it's challenging. You know what I mean? You say this to normal people. Put your pride aside. Can you say that to somebody, a president? Hey, President Biden or Obama or Trump or Bush or Clinton, put your pride aside. Right? You know the look you're going to get from that individual? You don't speak to me. You don't give me advice ever. Right? I am former president, greatest of all time. Yeah, you are. And you're on the wrong side of 42. Meaning it can't all be about you anymore. I like this kid, Colin Kneppel, how he's been playing. They got Kneppel. They got Brandon Miller, right? I'm a Charles Lee guy. So let's take a look at the Hornets. Vis-a-vis the Lakers, LeBron. And there's more where this come from, but the tide turns for everybody. Tide turns for everybody. Have your storylines, have these narratives, so on and forth. But keep it a buck when it comes to the Lake. You know what I mean? We don't need the in between the team stuff. And yes, LeBron has, LeBron and Clutch have their troops. Jeannie Buss has her troops. The new owner has his troops. But handle it behind the scenes. Handle it behind the scenes, LeBron. Yes, some of it can leak out and, control the narrative, so on and forth, just to keep people interested. But in terms of the play on the court, don't, right? Looking disinterested, in the game, doesn't want to be there. And no, sir. No, sir-ree. Okay, how we doing out there, folks? We good? Episode has been, hey, man. Let it be known, we in the building tonight. Sand City is in the building tonight. You know what I mean? We doing, hey, it's a beautiful thing. Chris, you done spark something. I was gonna go to Slice of Life. Slice of Life is gonna have to wait. Slice of Life is gonna have to wait because Chris, he's in, you know what I mean, adding. You said something that I'm we gotta get into. So we're gonna take a second here because I gotta get our art straightened out. Can't give me no JPEGs. They give me the one file, so then I gotta go. Hold on a second. Let me just check. Because I might be able to. I don't think you can put certain files. It's taking a second here because I got a bunch of tabs open, so maybe I gotta close some tabs. But we're good. That's the number one thing. We are good on the program. We're good in the program. Let me X that out. We'll bring that back. Right. X that out. Let me see, because I didn't check this. Because I might have been doing too much. No, you can't. That A5, it's not recognized. So I can't. Right. I gotta convert the A5 to this and to that. Gotta upload it first. It'll be a second. And frankly, I should have. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know what I mean? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I don't like these delays. 1 o'clock here on the East Coast. That means it's 11 out there on the left coast. Yeah, we'll get. Speaking of your boy, we was talking about AJ DeBan, so we're gonna get AJ in our slice of life. We're gonna get him up there for you. But solid point was made. Said the Hornets are a joke. I can't say that because I respect Charles Lee. And I'm not going to say anybody, I'm not going to call anybody out their name. I'm not calling anybody out their name. All right. But to the point, can a team led by LaMelo Ball be serious? Can a team the Hornets are a joke. Fine. Point taken. I see what you mean. It's bottom feeders. You want to talk about James Cameron, and Alvin and the submersible that went down and found the Titanic, and how James Cameron, the oceans are our next frontier, and how much of the ocean is undiscovered, which is a real thing, which is crazy in terms of how much water, like how deep the ocean is. You realize how deep the ocean is? How much water there is on this planet? It's unbelievable for the scientists out there. But then you talk about like Marianas Trench, 7 miles down. 7 miles down. And then when you get to, these unreal depths, that there's life in the pitch black down there. There's living creatures. Okay. You know who else you're going to find down there? The Hornets of Charlotte. Bottom feeders. All right. I have to say this, since time immemorial, it was good that Michael Jordan owned the team. They had good people that he hired, Larry Brown and Cho, and we hired good basketball people. Michael Jordan was clear. I'm a businessman. I'm not going into luxury tax. You're going to have to live within your means because it's a smaller market. We only generate so much. I'm only spending so much, which is an interesting, right? Because we know that teams in the middle of nowhere, teams in Podunk, can be dominant. We know that, right? Because the Oklahoma City Thunder right now are dominant with a war chest of draft picks. Dominant in the absolute smack dead middle of nowhere. So it most certainly can be done. For whatever reason in Charlotte, they it just culture-wise and then winning-wise, it never occurred. All right. They have talent. Excuse me. LaMelo's talented. He's better than I thought he would be. He can score, but hold on now. I feel like with the Melo ball, it's a lot of empty calorie stats. Okay. A lot of empty calorie stats. This is what, shout out to the Odd Couple. Rob Parker talks about Matt Stafford, who's balling. Chris, this is in your neck of the woods. He's showing well. Rob Parker calls him Stat Padford when he's playing for the Lions. A lot of empty calorie stats. Games in hand. Teams going to prevent defense. They're giving you all this the undercover stuff or the under stuff. So you're getting a lot of receptions, you're getting yards, but it's not leading to anything because once we come into the red zone, we're just going to shut you down. Call him Stat Padford. That's how I feel about LaMelo Ball. Highlights are good. He is a modern player. He's got the height, and he can shoot it. He stretches the floor. He can flat out shoot it. You leave him open, he can rain it down. You period, end story. He's going to shoot it from the 3 at a high clip. He's going to drive it. He can pass. Right? Is he a winner? No. Does he seem to care about winning? No. Is he constantly injured? Right? So I say the Hornets are a joke. To me, this is a franchise in transition. Where your best player is, not the best player for you. He's got to go. We remember what happened when Steph Curry came to the Golden State Warriors. Had a talented player that had some winning before. LaMelo has never had winning, but in Monta Ellis. Monta Ellis wasn't picking up what Steph Curry was putting down. Monta Ellis was of a mindset that we can't play together. Going to the front office. I can't play with this guy. Jerry West said? The door is over there, my friend. There's a new sheriff in town. Joe Lacob won a championship with the Celtics in 2008, takes over the Golden State Warriors. What's the first thing he does? Hire Jerry West as a special consultant. How does history look at that right now? How's history looking at that? And Jerry West begins to build it up. Draft this kid. Drops to us. Wanted to go to New York. No, we're taking him. Okay, next year we're bringing Klay Thompson. We're going to bring in Draymond. We're going to keep a David Lee. We're going to build this culture up. Monta Ellis talking about, I can't play with this guy. Oh, really? You're better than Steph Curry today, but your attitude and your upside, no. And and it started with the attitude side of it. I can't play with this guy. What did Steph Curry do? What is it? You just don't like him for because he's a good guy, because he's a happy-go-lucky guy, because he's not mean mugging 24/7, 365. What exactly did he do to you, Monta Ellis? And by the way, Monta has since mended fences and recognizes the folly of those actions. So it's in a much better place now. But what is there not to like about Chef Curry to begin with? That should have been the first question. I can't play with this guy. What exactly? He's a team first guy. Prove this by, and speaking of a situation, right? LeBron James right now having a difficult time with the circumstance. How did Chef Curry react when Kevin Durant wanted to take his talents to Golden State? Oh, yeah, he was a part of the recruitment team to bring him there in the first place. We can make it work. We can make it work. They made it work to the tune of 2 championships. No, my team, your let's get it going. Let's do something historic. And they did. But when he come to Golden State, Monta Ellis talking about, I can't play with this guy. But when the shoe was on the other foot, how did Chef Curry carry himself? Back to LaMelo Ball. Not that he's ever, said, I can't play with this guy, or winning doesn't seem to, I'm not, I don't find myself looking at clips LaMelo Ball kicking over tables or, punching the air because the Hornets are losing. Isaiah Thomas, when he come into the league out of the west side of Chicago, playing for St. Joe's, go ahead and check out Hoop Dreams if you haven't. I know I'm getting older, but some things never change. Hoop Dreams, timeless. He won at St. Joe's. Really great story that I have to tell about Bobby Knight going to recruit Isaiah Thomas. Bobby Knight, Indiana, Isaiah Thomas, west side of Chicago. Bobby Knight, I'm Bobby Knight himself showing up in the west side of Chicago. And Isaiah Thomas, and he talks, these people should know this, growing up west side of Chicago, 70s and 80s, war on drugs, aka war on poor people. Welfare laws at that time. Father couldn't be in a house for a family to receive welfare. So a family that needed welfare. By the way, give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. That's who we are as Americans. We help the least among them. We help the least among us. Who we are as Americans. This is after the New Deal. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Things like Social Security, a safety net, so people can get back up on their feet. Okay, this time in the 70s and 80s, right? Father couldn't be in the house for you to receive the assistance that you needed. So father had to leave the house. So the insanity. War on poor people. Right? Wealthiest, most powerful people in human civilization. What were they? Common denominator for many of them. They were once poor. Andrew Carnegie, so on and forth. What does this have to do with Isaiah Thomas? Back to LaMelo Ball. So, very difficult. Gang neighborhoods, gang coming to the house and telling you you're going to let us indoctrinate your kids. Wild. Bobby Knight goes to the house to recruit Isaiah Thomas. He has to go there during the day because they had no power. They have no power at night. So he has to go there during the day. Bobby Knight goes in, he's talking. And, so Isaiah Thomas is the younger, if not the youngest, big family. So his older brothers are interrogating Bobby Knight, asking all these questions. Bobby Knight holds his ground. Like, giving him answers. So finally, Isaiah Thomas' brother didn't like what Bobby Knight was saying. He's like, hey, man, if you don't like something, we can stay outside. Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight stood up. He said, and what? Lest you forgot, I came here from West Point. I ain't started Indiana. I'm coming from West Point. You feel me? And that's right there. It's not about black, white. We Americans up in here. Getting down. Getting down. It ain't about no black or white, nothing like that. You got something to say to me? I got something to say to you. And what? Isaiah Thomas' brother stood up. Bobby Knight stood up. And the decision maker, Isaiah Thomas' mom, is just sitting there watching this whole thing play out. And every, people, Mom said, sit on down now. And Isaiah Thomas says it. He went, into the press conference and, he's going to make his announcement and everybody's there. And here's Mom. My son will be playing for Indiana University. Press conference over. Press conference over. That was it. So a lot of great. His story is quite remarkable. Okay. A lot of people know that he left off the dream team and the issues with Michael Jordan. That's not even scratching the tip of the iceberg in terms of who Isaiah Thomas is as a person, as a player, and as a basketball ambassador. Not even close. But when Isaiah Thomas come into the NBA, and he's playing for the Pistons and he's losing, he's like, man, he thought about retirement, man. I can't do all this losing. I never lost in my life. We losing every set. I can't take this, man. I can't. St. Joe's winning. Indiana winning. Tough kid from Chicago. We gonna make it happen some kind of way. We ain't doing no losing. Not consistently. No. You might get an L here and there, but you ain't. No. I don't do the losing. He wanted to retire. The Pistons organization talked to him and got him in a different way. Right? I don't see LaMelo Ball in distress because of the Hornets' continual, consistent, unending, and unyielding losing. It doesn't seem to affect him. Right? And so when he says, I want out, I want to go to another team, you're going to be better on paper. You're going to be better in 2K. But I don't know if right? Situation with the Bulls, where his brother played. His brother was the most important player on that team. Lonzo, LaVine, and DeRozan. Throw in Vucevic. You got some draft picks. You're good. Right? Lonzo, distributor, getting the ball to everybody. Okay, he goes down and down goes, there. That team has been middling and out of the way since then. See if I can get any luck. No, can't get any luck here. Always gotta. Yikes. Oh my goodness. Okay, much better. Because I gotta go and bear with me, folks. Get the imagery, and I gotta convert the one image to the other image. But we're doing overall better. Even though it's, we're doing better on this episode of Sand City. Hold on, I had it. There we go. It's come back to me. It's there. Good. Let's save it. Delays are bothersome. It's good the stream is going. Just waiting on a quick download. Downloads come through for me. That's good. Thank you. We're not going to stop sharing. Actually, we are going to stop sharing. Try to keep it classy. And we'll reconvene. Hope everybody out there is doing well. Sand City in the building. We just we got Slice of Life coming up too. We got Slice of Life that we got to do. But let's get back to the sharing is the caring. Conversation piece right now is the Hornets are a joke. The lack of a winning spirit is a joke. But this young man over here is a winner. Colin Kneppel is a winner. And how he's come out the gates, right? Right? I'm quite impressed. Right? And he was not a top 10, 15 recruit out of Wisconsin. Really showed well on I followed this. So he balled out on the EYBL circuit coming from Wisconsin, had some big games. I appreciate, you know what I mean? my getting some support from my people. Appreciate, Pastor Lou on the IG, my college classmate. I appreciate that support, man. Y'all don't know, man. It's a beautiful thing. The support that you get, people rock in, connect with you. A couple people tune in here and there on the Twitter. You know what I mean? It means the world. So thank you. But Colin Kneppel's a winner, folks. He's a winner. He's a winner. Heard it here first. So, they're building. There's a foundation here, right? For this team to grow, learn and grow. Let me just see real quick about the different. That's no good. That's not. Yeah, I like this. I like the setup that we got here. See that? You can see me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Charles Lee, and with some young bulls, some young lions that's gonna do right. It's not that you win or lose; it's how you win or lose. Let's take a look here. I'm confident. Then they're not out there getting the brakes beat off of them. But let me see. Right? They're losing. Okay, and they're doing a lot of losing. 4-12. So they're losing at a high clip. They're losing and losing and losing some more. They on that L. They on that L train. Okay, so what are we looking at? Hold on. Okay, double digits. See, they did these track meets. Lose by double digits to the Clippers recently, by 9 to the Pacers, 2-point game against the Raptors, 13 against the Hornets, 13 against the Thunder, 13 against the Bucks, beat the Bucks, 10 points, 18, 4 points, right? We got a blowout here and there. Again, a part of it is, you give up 144 points. How they're playing, is like defenses. Do they even get in a defensive stance? Are they allowed to get in a defensive stance? Okay, I know Coach Bud is a pace and space and shoot the three and all the rest of that stuff, but doggone it, Charles Lee, we gotta. I get it. You want to give guys confidence. That kind of explains why some of Colin Kneppel's out here scoring all these points, because they're running and gunning. like there's no tomorrow. But I see a method to the madness. I'm seeing some form and some function. Right? So that's how I'm rocking my view, excuse me. My view of the Hornets. Okay. So we're going to get into slice of life now. I'm going to go ahead and get into slice of life. To conclude, Sand City, we in the building. Passion Project, you know what it is. Come through. Me, Sue. Holla at your boy. So we're going to finish up. Appreciate everybody that's, supported in however, whenever, whatever. I appreciate you so much. But we're going to finish up as we do with Slice of Life. Seeing what's out there in the world, in the culture. It's been brought up, talking about this young man that's on a mission. Mr. AJ.
Good. Right back at it. Good.
Better every day.
Good. I didn't ask you to do that. I told you to low pass. Come on. Just do the drill. Good.
Automatic.
Good. This is what elite looks like. This is what it looks like. Life or death. Good. Life or death. Watch my foot. Watch my foot. Watch my foot.
Woohoo! The trend. Woohoo!
Watch my foot. Watch the foot. Watch the foot.
Hey, who is his trainer?
Nothing.
His trainer, lethal shooter. I gotta follow this guy. I'm following lethal shooter right now. You jump up in the drill.
Yeah. Good. Who we at? 6.
Yup. Get on him now. Get on. Hey, get the hands on him. Get some hands on him.
Good.
Hey, give him the body.
Good.
You gotta watch this.
Good. Right back at it.
Get him again.
Good. I didn't ask you to do that. I told you to low pass. Come on.
Y'all can't see me. Y'all see me.
Good.
Let's get the phone.
Good. This is what elite looks like. This is what it looks like. Life or death. Good. Life or death. My foot.
That lethal shooter right there, man.
Bye-bye. Watch my foot. Watch the foot.
Hey!
What changed? Nothing. Hold it. 1.
I think I like this view. I like this view for the IG for the. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good. Who we at? 6. Yes. Good. Good.
So, the Pride of Brockton, Massachusetts, Mr. AJ DeBansa, he not taking nothing for granted. He's on the journey. He's locked in. He's locked in, so beautiful thing. Great to see. Let's stay in college for a bit. Let's go to talk to Cal. Doing his thing at Arkansas. Shout out to Nolan Richardson. Shout out to the Razorbacks. Cal's gonna give us some perspective. Let's get it. What's going on, Cal?
This is why I don't want to have a team of 14, 13 guys. Give me 8 or 9, 10 guys, and let me take care of those guys.
Right.
Because the others are transferring at the end of the year anyway.
That's right.
Now, if we have a lot of injuries,
It could be we had that this year, and that was trouble.
yeah, now you're. But here's what. I did 2, but we ended up with 7. You ended up with less.
Yes.
7 you can get by, and we did. I thought we could win the national championship the way we played at the end, and then the 7, 8 plays. But I still only want to have 8 or 9, a 10th guy that knows he's 10.
Yep.
Okay, and let's go. We have injuries. As long as we don't get down to 4 or 5, we'll be okay. But that's the trade-off. That means you care more about the kids than you.
Right.
Because if I care about them, I got to put myself. That's one of the reasons why I don't want to have a team of 14, 13 guys. Give me 8 or 9, 10 guys, and let me take care of those guys.
Right.
Because the others are transferring at the end of the year anyway.
Right.
Now, if we have a lot of injuries,
It could be we had that this year, and that was trouble.
yeah, now you're. But here's what. I did 2, but we ended up with 7. You ended up with less.
Yes.
7 you can get by, and we did. I thought we could win the national championship the way we played at the end, and then the 7, 8 plays. But I still only want to have 8 or 9, a 10th guy that knows he's 10.
Yep.
Okay, and let's go. We have injuries. As long as we don't get down to 4 or 5, we'll be okay. But that's the trade-off. That means you care more about the kids than you.
Right.
Because if I care about them, I got to put myself. That's one of the reasons why I don't want to have a team of 14, 13 guys.
Cal, speaking facts, you got to have role acceptance. You got to have role acceptance, right? That's just, okay? And you got a team, 12, 13, 14, dare I say 15, right? Guys have to understand what their role is on that team. We're not playing 15 guys, okay? Not playing 12 guys, YMCA, everyone gets the same, okay? You're going to play 7, 8, 9, maybe 10. But what do you say? 10th guy knows he's a 10th guy. You know, those guys need to be contributing in different ways, and that's going to be our rotation. Now, you go in there, you handle business, you knock teams out, as you should when you have talent. You knock teams out, put them away, then we can get everybody else minutes. Okay? Contrarily, if over the course of the season, players 11, 12, 13, and 14, and even 15 battle and grind and continue to get better and are able to contribute and show me something, and they can kind of get into that first 8 or 9, and some of the 8 or 9 that get complacent, entitled, indifferent, they can move back to the 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. But Cal speaking facts here relative to the team composition, how teams are constructed. All right? Ain't nothing free in this world. Shout out to Detective Point. Ain't nothing free. Okay? You earn your keep or you keep it moving. You earn your keep or you keeps it moving. All right, so we was in college. Let's come over to the NBA. Come over to the NBA and see what's going on in the association. Just talking about Clay. Let's get Clay in the mix.
He's a funny guy. He has a lot to say all the time, especially for a guy who rarely takes accountability. But you know what? That's for another day. And then with Ja, he's a funny guy. He has a lot to say all the time, especially for a guy who rarely takes accountability. But you know what? That's for another day.
Yeah, a little back and forth between Clay and Ja. That's been going back years. Remember when the Grizzlies were on the verge of breaking through, and they were going to be the next big thing in the league, and they felt like they were going to be the next big thing in the league, except they weren't the next big thing in the league, right? Remember that? And when they was on a movement, when they were balling, right? You know, they felt as though, hey, we're here. And you know, they talked like champions, you know, while having won nothing. So let's see here. We touched on, we got some Cal. Looking at in terms of our slice of life. Let's keep it moving. Got a lot of college stuff today and some coaching stuff, but a couple more.
To college, I was 16 years old. I don't know. I think when I went from Vegas to Chicago, I think they bumped me up or something. The college was quick, man. Then when I got to college, my birthday in September, I turned 17. Then I got drafted. It was just like a semester and a half, man. I was in there going to class, not really going to class. The dude kept saying, man, you don't go to class, you ain't gonna be eligible for next year. And you know, all I kept thinking, ain't no next year, nigga. Ain't no next year. Man, I'm gone. I'm out of here, bro. When I started college, I was 16 years old. I don't know. I think when I went from Vegas to Chicago, I think they bumped me up or something. The college was quick, man. Then when I got to college, my birthday in September, I turned 17. Then I got drafted. It was just like a semester and a half, man. I was in there going to class, not really going to class. The dude kept saying, man, you don't go to class, you ain't gonna be eligible for next year. And you know, all I kept thinking, ain't no next year, nigga. Ain't no next year. Man, I'm gone. I'm out of here, bro. When I started.
True, more and more. Let me push back on that. Less and less because of the NIL. So they're staying to get the bag. But in terms of one and done, you know, you're gonna tell me to study. You can tell me to study, and I'm blasting off in a couple weeks. No, sir. Further perspective on college.
When I was a high school coach, they would come recruit all my players, and they always wanted to have time with me in my office. Think of anybody that's hitting your head right now, sat in my office at Lipscomb with their feet up and told me these stories. Sure. Anybody. And they always say, this is the most miserable we've ever been. This is not what we signed up for. All trade seats with the odd. One Power 4 coach as successful as look at me. I was making $150,000 as a high school coach at Lipscomb. He's making, you might figure out who it is. He's making more than $6 million. Wow. I said, I will trade with you right now. I said, that's funny. He goes, no, I will literally, if our presidents let us, I will swap seats with you. I remember how miserable he was. But when I was a high school coach, they would come recruit all my
NIL,
players, and they always wanted to have time with me.
Transfer portal.
Think of anybody that's hitting your head right now, sat in my office at Lipscomb with their feet up and told me these stories. Sure. Anybody. And they always say, this is the most miserable we've ever been. This is not what we signed up for. All trade seats with the odd. One Power 4 coach as successful as look at me. I was making $150,000 as a high school coach at Lipscomb. He's making, you might figure out who it is. He's making more than $6 million. Wow. I said, I will trade with you right now. I said, that's funny. He goes, no, I will literally, if our presidents let us, I will swap seats with you. I remember that's how miserable he was. But when
Huh? Never mind the NIL and everybody having to get paid, but you know, it's every year is a new year. You're building, you know, where's the consistency? Where's the continuity? Where's the teaching? Where's the growth? You know, Casino Royale, we need to make some revisions.
Where it's
Talk
like
Wemby.
treasure the weeks that he's
I'm not
actually going there
playing?
yet. I'm not going to go there. He played 70-something games his rookie year. We'll see how long he's actually up this calf thing. Everyone's going extra cautious with the calf stuff, justifiably so. I'm not panicking. I'm not going to panic. Last year was a blood clot, fluky. Like, I hope not. I'm not going there yet. I will say to your point earlier about, is this just where we're going to be? You do hear people around the league, just front office guys spitballing about the Spurs. You can find people who would be like, I think they should accelerate their team building schedule, almost assuming that his career ends up being shorter than they think it's going to be. That seems so early and dire to me. And they're not like 5-year career. They're like, assume an 8 to 12-year career, and then they think more than that. You hear it, is all I'm saying.
I've made that point in the past on pods and felt bad, but look at the history of the league. Look at the super tall guys. How many of them had longevity? The only one was Kareem. Is this where we're going to be, where it's like, treasure the weeks that he's actually playing?
Okay. I'm not going to go there. He played 70-something games his rookie year. We'll see how long he's actually up.
I don't have injury concerns with Wemby, because you look at him, he's a runner. And what's the NBA game say? It's pace and space, running. Okay, he does yoga and all these things, to be super elastic. He's a taller version of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's been healthy the majority of his career. Okay. Another thing, he's so tall. What am I trying to say? He's not taking off from the dotted, like landing on people's feet. A lot of times he's just so tall, he just leans and he doesn't move his placement on the floor to score the ball. Right? You're worried about him. That's the thing. You're stepping on somebody else's foot or rolling his ankle, those type of things. Huge feet, and big galloping. But he uses, he has an agility and dexterity, and body control that I think will help him to avoid. So I'm not, he can have a 20-year career just like Kareem. He's a Giannis. I mean, he's taller than a lot of these guys by a good margin, but his body composition is not too different. All right.
To say no, and you have to say no sometimes, and it's the no's that I said that have really gotten me wherever I am now professionally. I'm not scared to say no, and you have to say no sometimes. And it's the no's that I said that have really gotten me wherever I am now professionally. I'm not.
Quick clip from Denzel. He says, sometimes I got to shut things down. Shut it down. All right, we'll finish with the ringer. This is quality stuff. Just in terms of the what ifs.
Conspiracy Bill's NBA conspiracy scale on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest level type of conspiracy and then 10 being the biggest. Number 1, Stern leaking the FBI's Donahue investigation to the New York Post so the story would blow up before they kept working on it and may or may not have found out if any other refs were involved. That definitely happened. That's not even a conspiracy. I think he did leak it. So that's 1. A 2, I don't think this happened, but it's a fun one. The league made David Kahn, when he was the Minnesota Timberwolves GM, pass on Curry 2 times in a row so he'd end up in either Golden State or New York in a bigger market. The 2006 Pro Miami Heat Finals officiating being a huge fuck you to Cuban for all the stuff he was doing and tried to make the
Watch
league
your mouth,
better.
Bill.
Now we're starting to get into the 2011 and 2012 lotteries being rigged. I don't think they could rig the lottery, but these are the 2 most suspicious ones to me. 2011, Cleveland wins the year
not
after
too more
LeBron
suspicious.
won. And then 2012, New Orleans finally sells the team after the league owns it, sells it, the Benson family buys it, and then they win the #1 pick. So
Cleveland got the #1 pick when LeBron wanted to come back. Anthony Wiggins
is a 5 out of 10. Number 6, Stern pushed a Seattle sale to OKC businessman knowing he would move the team because he wanted Seattle to stay empty as a potential leverage city, either to draw teams that would relocate or to point to teams that wouldn't build new arenas where he could say, see what happened to Seattle? You could be next. A 7 out of 10. Draymond's suspension gets upheld in the 2016 finals so LeBron could have a chance to come back with the Cavs. That's one of those proof to me that didn't happen. 8 out of 10, 2001 Bucks Sixers series and Game 6 of the 2002 Kings Lakers series. Yeah. 9 out of 10. Jordan suspended in 1993, and he's suspended for a whole year and comes back with 20 games to go in the next season. It's just never added up. I've talked about it a million times. How the most competitive guy of all time could be like, yeah, I think I've competed enough. And then 10 out of 10 is the frozen envelope in the 1984 lottery, which I've broken down over and over again, where they put 7 envelopes in this bin. Stern went around, he fell down, miraculously picked out the Knicks envelope, and the rest was history. And people thought that they made that envelope super cold so that he would know not to pick that one. That is the best NBA conspiracy of all time. Conspiracy Bills, NBA conspiracy scale. On a scale.
We want Patrick Ewing in Indiana. Podunk. Or we're going to bring Patrick Ewing out of Jamaica Plains. Cambridge, Massachusetts. We're going to bring Patrick Ewing to the Big Apple. Let's bring Patrick to the Big Apple. The draft stuff, yeah, they talk about Kyrie. What did Cleveland get? 3 number 1 picks when LeBron took his talents elsewhere? Got Kyrie, Anthony Bennett. Don't forget about Anthony Bennett. And then they got Andrew Wiggins, who was the piece that allowed them to go ahead and get Kevin Love and to rebuild what they were doing. So the draft, hey, it might not be an exact science, but we get the players where we want them to get to. Folks, yes sir, Sand City.